Hello. Um, I'm recording during the day for once. The lights never usually shining out here. Um, so I want to give a little, this is Derek. I want to give a little bit of clarification before we start the podcast this week. Um, so we ended up splitting this episode. This is a Frankenstein episode. It's got a little bits and pieces here and there of all kinds of different things. Um, Next week's is going to be the exact same way. So if all of a sudden a conversation just changes really quick and things are a little different and we go from just Derek and Quincy or just Derek, Quincy and Ed to just Derek and Quincy, then you know why. Or I guess it's just Derek and Ed. Quincy's barely in this either of these episodes. Um but yeah. So just keep that in mind. If it seems a little off, there's a reason it's a little off. Other than that, I'd like to start the Gotcha Gang podcast. Bye. Let me see when.
Back and muted.
Let me see when the last time the New York Mets won a fucking World Series.
That's weird. It didn't say I was muted, and I checked.
I just wish that being in Discord on PlayStation,
Hello.
it would either give
Yeah,
you
we can hear you.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can hear you.
So it did. I was like, it didn't say I was muted. I joined and I was like, oh, you're not muted. I look at your little dashboard when I join.
I wish it would notify you on PlayStation when somebody joins the call.
Yeah.
For too much.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You can either do the Discord sound or you can do the PlayStation notification noise.
No, you're asking for
Either of those is fine. Clearly.
The Mets have not won a World Series since 1986. That should fucking. Why would you root for that team at that point? It's
almost been 40 years.
Yeah.
Ari wasn't even born then.
You weren't
None
either.
of us were born then.
None of us were. Why'd you pick the baby? Of course she wasn't fucking born yet, my guy.
Because easiest way to be correct.
I mean, yeah, but as soon as he said 80 anything, you could have been like, dang, I wasn't even born yet. It's less syllables, so that would be the quickest way and easiest way to be correct.
I'm sure one of us has a family member that wasn't even born yet. Like, come on.
Daughter that wasn't even born yet. That's a family member right there.
Stop.
Nigga!
So my daughter's not family.
No, she is. That's not the point. He's trying to win
He said his daughter's not family.
No, she's family. That's not the point, though. He's trying to find a caveat.
That sounds like Quincy.
Oh shit, there's a Tekken 8 demo out? Oh shit.
Oh shit. That's cool. Alright. Are you ready to record, Quincy?
I'm ready.
Okay. Are you ready to record, Ed?
The amount of enthusiasm in his voice.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not amazing.
That was I really don't want to be here.
Oh man, I do want to be here. You know what I'm saying? So let's get the ball rolling before I get that faded phone call.
Okay. All right.
What phone call?
Who do you think? Who could it possibly be?
Did you not tell her, hey, I'm recording a podcast, so I'll call you when I'm done?
I did tell her I'm now a guest character, and she's 100% down for the meme.
Oh my god.
I mean, you know what this
Well,
episode is, right?
we've truly lost Quincy at
You'll
this
be
point.
you'll be missing out, my guy.
That's why we
Um,
needed. I said, get the ball rolling.
all right. Welcome to the Gotcha
Or
Gang.
hear me out. You
Oh,
could just be like, "Hey, I'm recording."
I mean, this is too
I
much work.
mean, that sounds like a main character problem.
You negotiated this, motherfucker. There was a contract in front of you, and you decided to sign. All right.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh yeah, yeah, duh. That's why I'm taking all full advantage of my side character benefits.
God
You
damn
guys
it.
can't get mad.
Um. All right. Welcome to the Gotcha Gang podcast. I am your host, John Winchester, and with me I have my boys,
You don't get to be John. You don't get to be John. Why are you
Sam,
dad? Why are you dad?
Sam
Why are you dad?
Winchester,
No. Why are you
Sam
dad? Why are you
Winchester,
dad? No. Why are you
Sam
dad?
Winchester,
Why are you dad?
Sam
No.
Winchester.
You're Castiel. You're Castiel.
No,
Maybe
I don't know
Carl.
who that is. I don't know who that is. I'm John Winchester. With
Oh,
me,
you don't know all the characters like that. Fine, you're the Impala.
Why is? Oh, dude,
I'm
I'm done. Nah, I'm clocking out. It's too early for this bullshit. I'm going back to playing Pokemon.
no, get your ass back here.
Vroom vroom, motherfucker.
With me is Sam Winchester. Introduce yourself, Sam.
Dean.
And Dean Winchester. Introduce yourself, Dean.
Zach.
Um,
I hate everything about everything right now.
and so in case you can't tell, this is a supernatural episode of the Gotcha Gang podcast. Before we get started, I have a little introduction that I would like to do. So, going to the Gotcha, God damn it. Going to the Gotcha Gang chat. I posted in the chat, and I'll show the viewers at home. The
Yeah, it'll be at the top right and the top left, and divided in half into duplicate, all the way in the middle, upside down, and swiping to the left and right at the same time.
I don't know what any of that means.
Thank you, editing
What?
Derek, for doing all of
You're
that. I appreciate it.
I'm doing none of that.
You're the old ones.
Um,
Jesus.
so I posted the Supernatural logo, and I said I'm digging this show. The next
He ain't even
day,
seen that yet. He
the,
ain't even know what that logo even means yet.
the next day, Quincy types in Supernatural ? And I posted a gif of SpongeBob, and I said we'll talk about it on the podcast. Quincy said, "Well, you must be far. They don't get to the tattoo till season 3." And I responded, "I just Googled the logo and got that. I'm only 4 episodes in." Then Quincy goes, "Jesus fucking Christ, you made it to season 3 in 3 days? Oh, lol. Season 1 does have the airplane episode, which is in my top 5. It also has Lydia's most hated episode 2, the one with the lake. Damn, man, welcome to the fandom. Lol, you have hundreds of episodes to go. We'll celebrate with Supernatural Simulator when you finish, and you'll be Cass. I'm Dean, and that is Sam."
That's
I
not
responded.
Cass. Not Supernatural Simulator.
It's the best.
I
It is the
responded.
best. No one can deny that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good when you're in it, I imagine, because I was out of it last time, and I just heard you two going, Sam, Dean, like just screaming at each other.
It was the best. We had an
It was
Impala and
amazing.
everything.
We had an Impala. They had Dean's pistol in the game. We was going crazy.
So after Quincy explained that, I said, I expected you'd be happy, but bro, pump the brakes. I'm 4 episodes in. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire Gotcha Gang chat, but there were a couple of times where it came up and we discussed doing an episode of the podcast about Supernatural. Here's the thing. I never actually said that I was watching Supernatural. I just
You say, hold on.
I j-
What? Okay, how do you interpret? I'm 4 episodes in. What's another way to interpret that?
I just posted the logo and said that I was 4 episodes in. And somewhere along the way, I said I was watching a show about Winchesters hunting demons. So, this episode, I'd like to talk about the show The Winchesters.
I can leave.
No, no, you can't leave.
I-
You
I thought
there
we
it
can't.
were talking
is.
about why would you watch the Winchesters? Supernatural's right there.
Because I watched The Winchesters, my guy.
But why not Supernatural?
Because I wanted to watch The Winchesters. I
But
saw
why?
I saw the actress that was playing Mary, and I was like, all right, let me see what the show's all about. I watched it for her. And I have to be honest, like, because I don't know anything about Supernatural. I just watched The Winchesters. I don't see what all the hate is about. I
Well, you
genuinely
would
don't.
know if you
So
would have watched Supernatural.
here's the thing though. So I watched all 13 episodes of The Winchesters. Um, that episode or that season very much tells you from the very beginning that it's not. It doesn't tell you that it's an alternate reality, but they drop hints from the first episode that it's an alternate reality. Like, because the show starts with Dean's narration, and in it, Dean's like, "Let me tell you the story of how my parents met," and then you get to the end of the episode, because by this point they've started fighting demons together. Uh, and what are they called in that season? They are the Akria, I believe. Akrita. And at the end of the episode, because they've suddenly met, um, they tell you like, or they've met and everything. At the very end, Dean is shown writing in his journal, and he goes, "Now you may notice something is off about this, and I'm gonna figure out the puzzle. I'm gonna find all the puzzle pieces and figure out what's different this time around." Like, he knows something is off, and like he's telling the story. When you get to the end of the show, like throughout the show, the Dean is narrating it constantly. And one of the things that kicks off the entire show is that John gets a letter from his dad about the men of letters. And that kicks off his whole demon hunting thing. And halfway through the show, there's Mary's dad was taking pictures of something. I don't even remember what the context was because it's not important ultimately. He was taking pictures of something, and they all get washed out by sun or light pollution, and so there really isn't whatever he was trying to take pictures of isn't there. But in the background of one of the pictures, what it did pick up was Dean, and John looks at the photo and he goes, "That's the guy who gave me my letter, who gave me the letter from my dad." And so you know that something's up. Like, you know that Dean changed the timeline. And when you get to the end of the show, they stop they kill the Akrita leader using the Impala. And then from there, Dean comes back, and Dean explains. He's like, I know how the show ends now, by the way. He goes like, I when I died, I went to heaven, and the Impala was waiting for me, and so I just took the
As
Impala.
cars do.
Yeah, right. All cars go to heaven. Um, and he's like, I just started driving the Impala around and going through the multiverse, trying to find a timeline where my family had a happy chance. And but it turned out that Chuck, whoever the hell Chuck is, um, he had fail safes, and the Akrita were one of his fail safes. And So I wasn't just gonna let the Akrita take over this universe and potentially go for another universe. I needed to stop them. And so I gave you the letter, which set off everything in motion so that you could start taking out the Akrita on your own. Um, and then Jack and Bobby show up and he introduces them, and they I mean I know a lot of spoilers for the end of Supernatural, uh because of this one episode. And they basically explain, like, yeah, I'm trying to stop whatever the hell happened. And it very much feels like, because the way the Winchesters ends is like, this is the only this season wrapped up so perfectly that this was going to be the only season involving Mary and John, at least this version of Mary and John. And it felt like the next season was going to pick up with Dean and Jack and Bobby, or even just Dean, trying to stop more threats that Chuck had left after Chuck died. And
As one does.
so it felt like it was just going to be this continuation in its own right. And I thoroughly enjoyed the full season. I don't think a lot of people gave it a chance. I think a lot of people. One of the things I noticed when I was doing some research on the show was the trailer. I saw the trailer, which you've both probably seen, and in it they start off by doing the then and now that I know that Supernatural does in the show. Except they show you John and Mary and tell you then, and then show you Dean and say now. That's not the case. There is no then and now. It's an alternate timeline the entire time, and Dean is in that entire timeline. He's not in the present day. So for them to start it off by saying then and now, it was incredibly misleading to fans. So of course they got pissed, and they're like, well, this, from what I understand, this breaks the canon. This isn't how the show, this isn't how the story did it. But even Dean is explaining, hey, I fucked with the timeline so that my family had a chance at a happy ending. Because apparently not even Sam gets a happy ending, is kind of how he made it sound. Like, he's looking for the one universe where somebody in his family gets a happy ending, because his family didn't get it in the show. So Sam dies? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
that's how Supernatural ends. Like Sam and Dean both die. Dean dies. Sam stops being a hunter, and Sam lives a happy regular life and dies with his son and then like hitting his wife. Like Sam got a happy ending.
Hmm. Um,
Spoilers.
yeah, spoilers, but whatever.
Hence the show. Why everyone pokes holes in the show.
But
Spoilers.
it's like, honestly, I really think that Supernatural fans need to give it a chance. I don't think it's that bad. Um,
Well, on
it's
the other side, I can understand that, but I know you yourself are also a canon whore. So imagine a show that you enjoy the canon, they fucked it up for what would seem to be no reason, and you don't explain the reason to the end. You mean you want us to go through an entire like show and then get to the end of this is what happened, and it's like I didn't even make it through the first episode. I quit halfway through the first episode.
so well. That's the thing, is like, even at the end of the episode, they are hinting that it is not the regular timeline. That, like, they're hinting that something is off. He's like, look, this isn't. You may have noticed, this isn't how the story goes. There's going to be a couple more surprises as we go along the way, but I get to pick the
Fuck the
music.
story.
Um, and honestly, and like, based on how much I've seen both Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki, like, actually standing up for the show, I genuinely think that they had good ideas for this. I genuinely think that they wanted it to go certain places and tell a certain story and be alternate universe or alternate universes. And nobody gave it the chance to be something different, because you don't want it to just be Supernatural. You really don't. Like, you may think that you do, but like, Supernatural went for 15 seasons, and I guess is going for season 16 now. So, do you just want more of the same, or do you want something to try something a little different? And I
Of course, I want to
genuinely,
try something different, but it's just that, maybe the advertising was off. Like, it's just everything about it
Advertising was
was
definitely off.
yeah, no,
everything
I'm
about
not
it was
disagreeing.
everything about it was off. Like, you can't be like, we have good ideas. Like I said, like waiting till the season finale to explain why everything's happening was a poor decision, because you expected everyone to sit through an entire season.
Yeah, man, what's wrong with that?
It didn't happen. That's what's wrong with it. That's why I got
They just
canceled.
don't. They just don't know what they like. You know what I'm saying?
They do know what we like, and they knew what we liked, but they just did it poorly.
I I completely disagree. I loved it. I'm not even trolling. I'm not doing this to like be like, Quincy. Like, I genuinely loved it. It's from start to finish. It's great, and I really I'm a little upset that there isn't gonna be anything else. That we're not. There's no other potential for this show. In fact, it it did poor. It actually didn't even do bad enough to warrant really being canceled, because it actually was one of the best shows that they had in 2023 and 2022. So there's that really confuses the fuck out of me. But I guess there was such bad fan reception that they didn't give it a chance. I've found people who were Supernatural fans who actually like changed their opinion on it, and it's it's really unfortunate, because there's something there. I will say some of the fun episodes of it are a little ruined by going to research things and finding out, oh, Supernatural did that first. Like when they do Loki, I'm like, oh, how did Supernatural never do Loki? Oh, they did do Loki. This is the exact same actor. This is a fan
Th-
service
This
episode.
is this is why you're supposed to watch, Supernatural first.
Supernatural first.
And
So,
then
so this was the bamboozle. This is going to be a podcast about the Winchesters, not Supernatural.
you know it.
I got nothing to add to this besides
Neither do
pure
I.
hate. Yeah, besides pure hate.
You okay? You shouldn't hate it though. Like you got. I mean,
I've seen
it's.
you hate
He
things for less.
said it.
What do
I've
you mean
seen you
hate
hate
things
things
for
for less.
less? I have not hated
I've seen
things
you
for
hate
less.
things for less.
That is bullshit. I'm hateful, but not
All
that
right,
kind of
Derek,
hateful.
sits down. Sits down calmly. Explain to me the new 52.
I gave the new 50, and I don't hate the new 52. There's a lot of people who hate it a lot more than I do. I gave the new 52 2.5 years of its 5 year run. Don't start that shit with me.
And Quincy gave it one episode of 13.
Quincy didn't even give it a full episode. He stopped partway through.
And you didn't give the new 52 their full run. So
For fucking 52 comics for 5 years. You don't think maybe I stopped at some point? Really?
just
I don't think
saying,
anybody
man,
read all
that doesn't
52
sound like giving it a
issues
full
of all.
chance. Things can change. Things could evolve and change and be different.
Ed, shut the fuck up.
All right.
All right. Well, I
Yeah,
guess
I thought we were going to talk about Supernatural. It's like, I thought we were going to talk about the airplane episode, the lake
mean,
episode. I thought it was supposed to be lit and decent. John, I
so
was excited, and
I
then you just pissed
I
off.
was excited.
so we
I don't
can
think his name is R. Kelly.
we can we can end the podcast there. But before we do, I'd actually like to go back a couple minutes. You remember
Okay, no,
earlier?
this is going to be the thing that goes up on Saturday because
That's fine.
nobody's going to be available.
That's fine. But I want to go back a couple minutes to when I told Quincy that I never said that I was watching Supernatural. I never
You
said
said the episode was going to be about Supernatural.
I never said that I was not watching Supernatural either. So let's talk about the first 2 seasons of Supernatural.
You how did you know what? I blame Ed.
What did I do?
You've bitted this man so much. That's all he knows. That's all he knows.
It's not my fault. This is season 2, Derek. I don't know this man.
This is season 2, Derek,
Bullshit.
baby.
God damn it, Derek. This is an emotional roller coaster.
I can hear it.
What that's like.
I can hear it in Quincy's voice. At this point, he is already
Well, because
emotionally tired.
After you said Winchesters, I literally mentally clocked out. I'm not being rude. I was kind of scrolling. You said Winchester, I was like, oh shit, I ain't
I ain't about to sit here and listen. I was surprised he didn't just pick up his phone, call his girlfriend, and be like, hey, baby. So he on some bullshit.
Listen, if she would have called during that time, I'd been like, oh, shit, well, I got nothing to contribute to this anyway. I'd said big jelly black titties, bleep bloop.
Beef bleep bloop. Oh man. I told this man. I was like, Quincy's gonna clock out. There's
You did. You're like, those were your exact words too. You're like, Quincy's going to clock out.
Like, I legit.
You're lucky Mariah's calling right now.
Oh shit, is she really? Ooh, Mariah's calling.
We've lost Quincy officially.
Mariah, yeah, he muted because his girl called. Well,
Seeing as you decided to, for the bit, make him a guest character,
worth it.
now you've made it to where he has.
Worth.
It's almost like someone said, "Let's start the supernatural thing," and then Derek did a bit.
Oh, excuse me that your girl called 20 minutes in. We wouldn't have had enough time to talk about anything anyway. But we
would have had more time to talk about stuff.
Been gone. She called 18
minutes.
I'd have been like, look, to be honest, I got nothing to contribute to the Winchester conversation. Hope you guys have fun. About.
We don't do that anymore. That's not part of
season 2. You made Quincy a guest character. Now he has even less obligation to us.
So are you gonna stick around to talk about the first 2 seasons, or are you gonna go talk to Mariah?
I feel like we should have started with this, but you know what? I did get a supernatural cookbook, and it got me in the supernatural mood. Let's do this.
All right.
The cookbook saves all.
The cookbook has a recipe for enchiladas.
Interesting. I don't know what the relevance to the show is yet, but all right.
Most of the delicious. I mean, you've seen some of them. You know Dean's love for pie.
No, I just got to Dean's love for pie. That was literally in the beginning of the episode that I just started.
That's crazy.
Damn, pie didn't come in until season 2.
It's in the end of towards the end of season 2. I didn't even finish that episode, but the episode starts with them pulling up to a diner, and Dean is like, hey, make sure they give me extra onions. And he's like, no, I have to be in the car with you. I'm not getting you extra onions. He goes, well, then give me extra pie. I love pie. Like, so that's how that episode starts. But that
it does make sense. Season 1 was supposed to be more serious, and then it slightly gets more goofier.
Yeah, season 1. So season 1's rough, in my opinion.
Oh hell yeah!
Okay,
I fell off of season 1 3 times before.
I had to find a list that tells you what episodes to skip throughout the show.
Don't skip any of them.
No,
the filler's the best part.
Hold on. And what ended up happening was
my wayward son. You need to carry on.
No, hold on.
Stop.
The list basically says, after season 1, there are episodes that are skippable, but you should watch them. Season 1 has episodes that you should just plain old skip. And so that's what I did. I only skipped episodes in season 1 because I got like seven, or I got 6 episodes deep, and I'm like, not all of these. I don't think I needed to watch all of these. So I
should though.
I might go back.
Not all great.
I might go back, but for the most part, I really
What episodes did you skip?
So let me look. So I skipped Hookman.
Yeah, that's pretty skippable. Right,
okay,
keep going.
I skipped Bugs.
Yeah, that's pretty skippable. Keep
Okay.
going.
I skipped Asylum
Which one's Asylum?
while investigating
The
a
one with the
haunting
asylum.
in an abandoned
They went to a
asylum
lot of asylums. They went to a lot
and
of asylums.
rescuing two teenagers who ventured in. Sam and Dean become trapped with the spirits of those who died in a riot decades ago, one of which
Oh,
was a
that was
doctor who.
season one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is that
that
one
episode
up
has
with
some
that
funny
crazy
moments.
scientist dude? That was
Yeah,
like
that's fine. That's
that's
fine.
season one.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's
I
fine.
literally just read what's on IMDb, so
Oh yeah, that I mean, you could skip it, but there's some good little bits in that episode.
I skipped Route 666.
God damn it, Derek! That's the one I told you about, the racist fucking truck driver, block stopper.
All right,
You
I'll
do
go.
need to watch the one with the racist truck
It's the
driver.
only time where there's like a black woman in Supernatural forever.
All right, I'll watch that one. I'll go back and watch that one.
And plus, we got a
Um
little bit of Dean. Dean not being open because the whole thing is an ex of Dean hits him up and says, "We need your help."
the Benders.
What?
After following a history of disappearances in Minnesota, Sam finds himself locked in a cage,
Minnesota.
Dean must team up with a by the book sheriff to find him before the hunt
Oh,
begins.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Watch that one. That's a good one.
Is that where they meet? What's her face?
No, that's the one where don't you remember where Dean finds Sam? He's locked in a cage, and he's like, and Sam tells him, "Dean, they're just regular people." He's like, "Regular people?"
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like it was basically like they got like Sam got kidnapped by some like backwater hillbillies.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there
that's
you go. Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
so
that's a good episode.
I need to I need to go back apparently.
them niggas was weird.
Yeah, I didn't know that was season one. But then again, if like season 15, like season like 10, 17 got kidnapped by some hillbillies, that would raise some eyebrows.
I'd be like, hey, do they have, what's going on? They got some
I need you
magical
for a
mythical
rooster.
powers,
Like,
or
what? Keep going, Derek.
All right, so I skipped something wicked. Dean gets a
What's
this way comes?
keep going? No, keep going, keep
D-
going. What's
Dean
something
gets
wicked?
Dean gets a second chance to right a wrong from his past when the brothers get a mysterious tip from their father about a case they'd worked years ago but left unfinished after Sam was nearly killed by the creature.
I think I know that
That's not the
one.
that's not the like Fox girl or whatever girl.
No. I think it's like that one. I think there's only one thing I could think that like almost killed Sam. It was that thing that I think was in the hospital. Is that the one? I think that's the one like the sleeping girl, and that thing would like creep inside kids' rooms and try to kill them, like in their sleep. It would like drain them or something like that. And the whole time it was the doctor of the children's ward, like the pediatric doctor. That one's a cool one
I
because
don't remember that one.
it touches on their past, which now that episode touches on their past.
Yeah, I've actually read that that's a reason to watch the anime because the anime deals with a lot of their past whereas the show doesn't for some reason.
I still need to watch the anime, but apparently the anime gets a cosign from most fans. Though.
Yeah, it does. The only complaint
It's
I've
actually
seen
wild.
The only complaint I've
Yeah,
seen
right.
about the anime is that the only the last two episodes feature Jensen Ackles.
That's fine. I mean, I feel like they could have been doing other things. Maybe you
That's
know
exactly what was happening. He was too busy and could only record two episodes.
that's fine.
Um,
I'm always glad to see them do things other than supernatural.
yeah. Well, like Jensen Ackles was on The Boys, right?
Yep, on the boys, he also voiced the Red Hood.
Oh yeah, he did. He
And he
did.
also
Yep,
voiced Batman.
Batman.
And the only other one in season one that I skipped was Provenance. When two sets of owners of the same painting are brutally murdered, Sam and Dean investigate with the help of an auction house owner's daughter, all while Dean shamelessly
Oh
tries
Oh,
to
I
yeah,
repair
remember
her
that
with.
one.
Oh.
that one's cool. The only thing that's really memorable about that episode is it touches more on Sam's romantic stuff because the chick that they just said in the description, Sam catches feelings for. And the
Hmm.
thing about it is like I think she shows back up. I don't know why they told you to skip that one. I think like it's like a little quick show back up, but I think she shows back up.
Hmm.
So you'd be like, they'd be like, "Oh, you," and then you'll be like, "Who the fuck is this bitch?" But then again, so were all of us because it wasn't like it was like the next season. It was like, "Who is this bitch?"
Is it like season 13 and you're like, who?
Yeah, like that's what happens. Like, oh my god, like when all their old like monsters came back, and it started off, and the season finale was literally the first episode. We just didn't know. It was just some girl on the side of the road. We're like, who the fuck is this bitch? And then she started glitching out like a ghost. Like, oh my god, it's the bitch
Yeah, I
from the
remember
first
seeing. Yeah,
episode.
yeah. Because I was like, "Who's that?" Quincy was like, "Don't you remember?" I was like, "What?" It's like the first episode. Think back, season one. It's like it's been forever. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that episode probably 3 times and I don't remember the ghost from the first episode. That's not the thing that stands out to me.
The ghost is, I mean, the main thing, that's the thing that stands out to me is, I mean, there's other things, but the ghost is like, because she was trying to get Sam all horny so she could kill
Oh, you're right. Yeah. I forgot about that.
That is how.
him.
That's how women do things.
Sam was like, I'm not gonna delve into infidelity, and she's like, you will, and start kissing on his neck and shit. Like, yo, get this
Yeah.
horny ass ghost off me. And the whole time he was saying no, and she's like, who cares? Close enough, and started killing him. Bitch, when they don't follow their own rules, then what's the point of having rules? Like,
Um.
We don't
Jesus.
need rules where we're going.
So so that first episode is a little. It's rough. There's some good parts of it, but even it's not a great start in my opinion. Um.
It's not. It's cool for like kind of like it's a little nugget, but not enough of a nugget to be like, oh man, I can't wait to see this entire season. A little nugget like, oh, these characters seem interesting. Something about their past, their dad's missing, they hunt monsters. Like, go let's see where this goes, I guess.
The Wendigo episode was meh.
Yeah, Wendigo's pretty mad.
The okay, Dead in the Water. So we're going to talk about that one since you already brought it up in the saying
Oh,
that
the
Lydia
one
hates
that
that
Lydia
episode.
hates it. Yeah, Lydia hates that episode.
So I think I've seen the first 3 because this one especially like stood out in my mind.
Familiar.
I think I'd seen it. I actually dig it, and there's actually
Uh,
some halfway funny moments in it too.
yeah,
Um, but genuinely, I don't understand why she hated it so much because I'm like, this is actually kind of fascinating because
it's fascinating. It was only I think it's because like it's the only Supernaturals episode that actually kind of creeped her out.
oh really.
Yeah.
That I mean, because that's one of those ones where there's a lot of suspects, and the list just keeps getting smaller and smaller. A lot of the times in this show, and not just this show, but even something like Scooby Doo or whatnot, you only get you only get a handful of
Whoa.
suspects. But
Yeah.
like this one, it's like okay, there's the brother, there's the dad, there's the woman who was somehow connected to all the kids. There was the sheriff, the sheriff's daughter, and the sheriff's grandson is the only person who seems to know what the fuck is going on, and he's drawing everything.
Yeah.
Um, Also, I think that the son being the grandson being mute, not saying anything. I think that that's actually like something that they changed in the script because I noticed in a couple places his his back would be turned to the camera, but you could see just enough of his head to see that his mouth was moving, and Dean would just be staring at him, and I'm like, I think that kid's saying something, and they've just edited out his lines.
No,
Like,
no, he is saying something. I think the thing is like he doesn't like talking to like strangers because the way the thing is
Yeah,
like he
I
would
know what you're
he
talking
would
about.
talk
Yeah,
to his
he's not
dog.
mute.
right.
Yeah,
But he doesn't.
because
Yeah,
he draws stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah,
yeah. I understand what
Yeah,
Derek's saying because like they kind of like freaking renege on things because when they explain them like he hasn't talked since X, Y, and Z happened. Then like you'll see him talk to somebody, but you don't get to hear it. And then it's like, oh yeah, he says this, and it's like, hold on, didn't you say he doesn't talk? No, he just kind of doesn't talk to strangers. And then 5 minutes later, it's like he doesn't talk. It's like, bitch, choose.
Um,
Choose. Does he not talk or does he kind of talk?
I want Quincy.
Yes.
Both. You can't. That can't be both.
You
That's not a
can't have it
both
both ways.
answer.
You can't. It's not. This isn't Burger King. You can't have it your way. You ain't Hannah Montana. You can't get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I
um,
don't see why not. I don't know what the problem is.
I want Quincy to explain his feelings on the plane episode.
That's the best. What do you mean? That's it. Roll the credits. It's the
That's
best.
literally it, Derek. Yeah, that's literally it,
Like the
Derek.
like the airport
I could have
episode
told you
is,
his
is the
feelings on that
best.
episode.
No. I wanted to
Like
know
the
why, but I guess that's as good as I'm gonna get.
yeah, like the airplane episode is like is it's like there's like it was the number one episode, and then just my imagination happened. Then just my imagination was the number one episode. Then the Scooby Doo episode happened, and then the Scooby Doo episode is the number one episode of
There's a
Supernatural,
Scooby
hands
Doo
down.
episode.
Yes, they have a Scooby Doo crossover.
There is a Scooby Doo episode.
Nuh-uh.
It is really good.
Swear to God,
Yaha.
yes sir. And the thing that's cool about it is that it can be seen as a standalone. If you don't know shit about Supernatural, you can enjoy that episode.
You may have tempted me to skip ahead for just one episode.
No, Derek,
That's
don't
what
be
I did.
tempted
Like,
by
'cause I
fate.
I like watching
Wow.
everything.
Oh
And I
yeah,
wasn't
I
caught
remember
up
that.
in season 14, but then like the Scooby Doo episode happened, but I didn't feel like catching up. And then everyone who watches like, oh, you can. It doesn't do any like story beats, so you can watch that entire episode and not know anything about Supernatural. I was like, bet, and I watched it.
That's awesome.
Of course,
I
you do get
remember
more
that.
because like characters, but really all I need to know is like Sam's a nerd, Dean like food, Scooby Doo's there, Cass is awkward, socially awkward. That's it.
I might wait
He
until I've
basically
gotten
did
to
give you all the
Cass
viewpoints.
because I don't know anything about Cass yet. I don't know anything about Crowley.
Crowley's not even in an episode.
Okay. Like
Yeah, just Sam, Dean, and Cass.
there's certain things
And
about
Scooby.
there's certain things about the show that I know. Is it animated or is it live action?
Animated
Partly
and
live action, mostly
It's
animated.
okay.
Live action leads into the anime.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There's an episode of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds that's like that. The animated show in one of the seasons crossover. Um. So, but do you have any? Would you like to elaborate on the plane episode at all? I thought it was an okay, just like middle episode. It didn't seem like it was like, yeah, all right, this is amazing or anything. But like you
You were
hyped it
fully
up a little
destroying
bit.
your friendship with Quincy.
God damn, the airplane episode is amazing. All right, first of all, you go there.
Right.
It's first time dealing. It's first time dealing with the demon. So you're just like, oh yeah, it's this crazy ass demon, and like, I hope you do enjoy that demon because like demons are way weak. Even though that's just like supposed to be like, oh, this is just a run of the mill demon. Like, really, no demon is that strong. Now that boy was ridiculously strong, and also they never do the Christo thing again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Christo
Yes, they
never
do.
happens again. When they
Yeah,
do
they
Christo
do.
again?
Didn't they do it in the one where it was the cult of all the Christian people because the chick was a false prophet because it was what was it, like a demon
Oh
or a
yeah,
shapeshifter in disguise?
that shit. She reels at the name of Christ. That's one other time.
I'm just saying, technically, it does
Okay,
happen
like
again.
but okay, that's one other time though. Like generally, all the times they do a demon, the Christo thing doesn't come up with any of the
All
demons
you
again.
said, all you said was it never
Name
comes up
five.
again. You didn't elaborate.
Name
Name
five.
five. Name five.
Name
You have to
five.
name
Now
five.
do you name five? Name five, or it doesn't matter.
So that's what that feels like.
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter.
it's not great. It's not great.
All
So
I'm
like
saying
the
is,
Christo thing doesn't come up like that. Really,
you
never.
can say it's not relevant anymore after that
It's
point.
not
There you
relevant.
go.
It's 0% relevant. It doesn't happen anymore. It's just leave it at that. There's a couple of things that they do that's super cool. They just never do again, like exorcism talk over the intercom. Like
Yeah.
they only did that once and never did it again. But
Do you really need to do it again?
Yes, you could literally like you know how many times
I mean,
shit
yes,
happens to
it's
them,
it's very very
and
beneficial. I understand.
Dean always forgetting how to because Sam can do well Dean now can do it, but current Dean where Derek's watching, like
Yeah,
that Dean does not
Dean does
have
That
not
boy
do
don't know
Latin.
his Latin.
Dean does not
yeah,
do
That boy
his
Latin.
don't know
Yeah.
Latin,
his
yeah,
Latin.
his Latin sucks. So that means literally you could literally have a fucking Bluetooth speaker, throw it on the ground, and it just say it. And plus, we don't know if you could speed it up. Imagine you could speed it up to 1,000%. It's just one big screech, and then demons are gone.
That's a good point. That's a
That'd
good
be
point.
wild.
What bomb did you drop? Bluetooth speaker.
Just the demons like, oh, boom, bam, easy technology, bitches. Technology, bitches.
It's the way of the future. Um,
Uh,
all
That's all
but
you
right,
need, man.
like,
That's all you need.
because I guess it was cool because
keep talking.
especially when you go back.
I'm gonna mute for a second.
If go ahead. So especially when you go back to the episode after you finish Supernatural, or not even finish, like you get even when you get to the point, like when I got to the point that I was like, oh, this is all Supernatural we have right now, like see, well, I think it's like season 12 or whatever. Then I was like, oh, then I'm just gonna start over. Seeing the episode again, like the episode is better the second time you watch it with the understanding of Dean, because you're like, damn, these niggas do drive everywhere. Like, why do these guys drive everywhere? Because Dean's like, I'm afraid of planes. And it's like, damn, how did the Impala make it? Think of how many miles is on that car. Jesus Christ.
It is it's trucking. I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody somewhere has put a map of like everywhere that Sam and Dean have driven to in the Impala since getting it.
Oh, 100%.
And I bet that if you calculate the miles, that it listen, they get oil changes regularly. I don't know what you want.
Jesus Christ. I know they said Dean knows how to like basically fix. I mean, Dean has fixed it. Like, his Derek saw the end of season
Oh,
one.
yeah,
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 and
you gotta
Dean
remember that
fixed
thing
that.
gets trashed like a couple of times to where it gets like
Yeah,
basically rebuilt. I'm assuming like a whole new engine has to be put in that bitch
has to
because of
be. Has to be. Especially the way
so
season
it's
one
really
ended. Them niggas got careened.
yeah, yeah,
Careened.
like
Them
all of
niggas went
that.
from happy go lucky to sherbert.
Yeah, so all of that. So that's a whole new engine. So it's
Okay.
basically a new car at that point.
Still,
What?
what doesn't now I can ask Derek. All right, so you've seen the season finale of one, right? And then you've seen
Yes.
like episode one of season two, right?
Yeah, I am.
How
Go ahead.
how the flying fuck? Like, I still to this day they never explain it.
Explain what?
Reapers are like Reapers are basically ghosts.
Okay.
How the fuck did Yellow Eyes possess a ghost?
I don't know enough about Yellow Eyes. I don't know enough about him. I don't know what his deal is. If he's just a bog standard demon, because they make it seem like he's the king shit. So I don't know.
He's a higher up. He's a higher up demon. He's not no regular run of the mill demon, but still, like, how that's like a demon possessing a demon, basically.
Well, I mean,
Like how like when
if
he
he's
possessed that Reaper, it was like, yeah, you're free. And I looked and I remember my confused face, like, how the fuck did he possess a ghost?
The
yeah,
power of friendship.
I have no idea.
Like, the Reaper showed you what his true form was, because when Dean was like, "Hey, get away from that person," like that's what a Reaper looks like,
Right.
without doing the whole like camouflage, chameleon circuit thing. That's what that is. That's what a Reaper looks like, a ghost, because it's a ghost. So how can a demon who is just a
Because
twisted
it's a
soul?
ghost.
Yeah, like a demon is just a soul, a regular soul that goes to hell and becomes twisted. So it's just a ghost. A demon is just a ghost with trauma. How did that possess a ghost?
The power of friendship.
I don't
That's
know.
the power of plot armor.
I don't know.
That too.
At the moment, it's like the reason I bought into it was because I'm like, this guy seems like he is the end boss of the show. I already know that. I think he goes away at the end of season 5 or something like that. Like,
Yeah, there's always going to be a bigger boss down the road.
right. And obviously, unless he's Chuck, like it sounds like Chuck is the main villain of the show.
I
Um.
mean, you don't even see Chuck for a while. Like,
Okay.
yeah, Chuck doesn't even show up for a while.
Yeah.
Damn, and the
So,
fact that you know that Chuck is the villain when Chuck is introduced, you're gonna be like, I don't like this nigga. Chuck was super likable in the beginning.
oh
He
really?
was a chill
Yeah.
dude. I
Yeah, now
fucked with
that you
Chuck.
know Chuck, now that you know that Chuck is bad news, now it's just gonna fuck. Now the whole time you just know.
Mm.
He do just know now.
Is he
Takes
a good
all
guy?
the surprise. It's almost as if you were supposed to watch Supernatural before the Winchester.
Too late now. What am I gonna do? Get a fucking blunt trauma injury to the head to change that? No, we're good.
I can
I mean, we can make that
we can
happen.
arrange that.
We can arrange that.
Y'all need to calm down.
When are you coming
Saying,
to
man.
California again?
Just saying, man. It enhances the experience. Like,
Yeah, this is for your.
yeah, man, the experience is severely enhanced. Like I remember, like after, like we were waiting for the next season to come out before everyone realized who Chuck was, and I remember my homie being like, "I think Chuck's God," and we called him stupid.
Oh shit, he's alive.
so So yeah, oh
Oh
yeah,
my god.
circling back to airplane episode. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, airplane episode. You get there's a lot of it's a comedy episode basically. You get
Kill
to see
him.
Dean go crazy. Yeah, like Dean's scream is forever cemented in my mind. It forever make me giggle when he thought the plane was gonna crash. And
um,
him just hyperventilating. He's like, Dean, the demon is attracted to fear, and you're just oozing fear right now. Get it together.
yeah.
And then it's like, oh, especially when it's like, oh yeah, the demon's already on the plane. It's like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna get on that plane. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to stall out as hard as possible.
I love that kind of
Oh,
comes back in season 2 with the clown episode. He's like, oh, I am loving this. like he is okay. He's okay with Sam freaking out because he's like, I've got planes, you've got clowns, we're even.
but yeah, like especially since Dean is like he's kind of funny, like but especially season one, he's very much more a little more like he's goofy, but way more straight edge in season one. So like
yeah,
it's just a fun episode. I enjoyed the fun episode.
that's one of the rough things in my opinion about season 2 is season 2 is has lightened up almost immediately. Not immediately from episode 1, but there's some brevity to the show as a whole.
Hmm. Yeah.
But in the first half, maybe not even first half, maybe first quarter of the episodes, Dean is too serious. And even compared to season 1 where everything was serious, Dean was too serious in season 2 and it's like, all right, I need Dean to lighten the fuck up already. And like once he tells Sam, well, no, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that Sam, his dad told him, you need to kill Sam if something goes wrong, and
Which
so
is heavy because I was wondering that whole time, what the fuck did Dad whisper in his ear?
I gotta be honest, that I felt like that twist could have been a lot bigger. I
I
felt
feel
like
like
that was
that
kind of a
twist
weak
is
twist.
pretty big. I
You
feel like
think
that is a
so?
I
pretty
mean,
big
having to
twist.
kill your
Yeah,
brother is a pretty big
said,
twist.
yeah, like Dad said, if you are anything that's dangerous, I'm supposed to
Good
kill
to
you.
know that Derek's just okay with killing siblings if Dad says so.
It's more that I never felt like Dean would do that in the first place. Like I don't feel like I believe Dean's gonna kill his brother. No, I really don't believe that Dean's gonna kill his brother. So for his
I
dad
mean,
to
I don't think
sit,
it's supposed to be the believe that Dean's gonna kill his brother. I think it's more so the emotional thing of like Dean has to deal like Dean has that in his head that he might have to kill his brother. Now,
Realize.
due to his character, yeah, he might, knowing Dean, you'd be like, oh, well, I don't think Dean would do that. He loves his brother too much and everything. Like that's not gonna
The
happen.
fact that that
But
circle
that's
of
still,
belief hurt.
yeah, but that's still in your head. Like that's still gonna mess with somebody. Like even if they flat out decide I'm not gonna do that, it's still like I might be the only one that would be capable of doing that if things like turn bad. Like I might be the only one that can stop them. If I don't
It
stop them, then
does
things could get
it does
worse.
circle back too. There's like an episode when Sam's going a little crazy and then like he's trying to say I'm doing it for the right reasons and Dean's like if you weren't my brother I would hunt you.
damn. All right. Um, does I'm gonna skip over some episodes when talking about them because I don't feel like I have a lot to say about some of them. I have nothing to say about
Well,
Bloody
I mean,
Mary, for instance.
oh
Yeah, I
Jesus
bet you
Christ.
Quincy does. You
Do
said
you like
what? What? Who now?
Do you like Bloody Mary?
No, that's the
I
episode
didn't
I
like
couldn't
that
get through.
episode.
That's the episode that made me stop watching season one.
Okay.
It was a pretty meh episode.
It's
Like I
yeah.
watched all of
Yeah.
it,
Like
and
I get it. I get the point of it because like Supernatural Bloody Mary is such a like an iconic thing, but still,
Yeah.
I feel like it's played out.
Oh, this was very played out. This was
But it is. We have to also remember the time frame of when that episode came out. Maybe during that episode, Bloody Mary was the new hotness, but now she's old as fuck.
maybe it's been out for how many years?
that was
15.
2005. So
Yeah,
Oh
Bloody Mary
yeah,
was
that
probably
might
the
have
new
been the hot
hotness.
shit.
I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That could have been the new hotness. We messed up.
yeah. We messed up. We're the problem.
But yeah, I got nothing to add to the Bloody Mary episode. I mean,
uh
it's whatever.
Skin, the episode.
Oh,
Oh, is
That's
that
an
the one with the
important one.
shapeshifter?
Yeah,
Skin,
that's the first shapeshifter
skin.
episode.
Yeah, like that. That's the first time we. That's the only time that I can think of you get just a close-up, in-depth look of a
Yeah, you get
shapeshifter
a full.
shapeshift,
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the only one where you get the
and
full
that still
transformation.
fucks me up.
Have you ever seen the movie
Quincy didn't like
Split
that one at all.
That's that fuck split.
No,
with James
with James
McAvoy?
McAvoy.
Yeah.
With Professor Xavier. No, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
Okay, there's this scene at the end of that movie that is like a more high definition version of the transformation scene. And
Well, Quincy ain't gonna watch it.
yeah,
No,
though like if you don't if you
Not that
didn't
part, anyway.
if you didn't do the body horror of that scene, you're definitely not going to do the body horror of Split.
I mean, like, it was just like, damn, Supernatural gets down like this.
Yeah. Oh, like I felt like as a whole that episode was definitely like the production went up on it. Like it doesn't even have a previously on. It just starts with them finding Dean in the
Like,
house.
Yeah, finding Dean in the house, like torturing someone. And the thing that got me about shapeshifters in the show, I was like, oh, they just look like he's like, no, they start getting your memories too.
Yes.
So you can't like do the whole like test.
It's like,
them
tell me
about their
something that
memories.
only so and so would know.
Yeah, they know that, which is super weird, but like, I guess it does make it.
Hey, they're
so you
supernatural,
can't do
so
that.
you know.
Yeah, it stops the cliche of like, what's mom's middle name or something.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like Felicia. It's like trick question. She has 3 middle names.
Click blame. So
yes, that was a good one. I will
that
say
episode, good, because the eye flare thing comes back a lot.
yes. And
The eye flare thing, when
the
you
eye
see a
flare?
shapeshifter's eyes in the camera, the eye
Yeah.
flare.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it comes up a lot.
That's
And
very helpful information.
I think that episode being just okay, in my opinion, a little better than okay. I'll say a little better than okay, makes above average, makes it so that the next time you see a shapeshifter, which is the bank episode, that's one of my personal favorites so far.
Ooh, that's a
Bank
good episode.
I didn't know that was the first season.
That's season 2.
That was first
that's
season?
Season 2.
Oh,
That's
no,
season 2.
Oh, okay. That's only season 2?
Yeah,
Damn,
because
yeah. Oh,
that's
boy,
the
dying,
introduction. That's the introduction of the FBI agent. Yeah, the dude, the
God,
conspiracy
that
theory,
nigga.
the conspiracy theory dude getting
yeah, the
killed.
conspiracy theory dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
that got me. I was not
That fuck-
expecting
yeah,
that.
I wasn't because he was down for the cause.
Yeah.
He was down
Yes,
for the cause. I fucked with him.
he was one of those guys who in math class his work was wrong, but his answers were right. Like, like everything he what did he what
Not
did
the
he call
work
them?
was wrong with the
Thought they were
answers.
like aliens. What they call them? What I forgot. What the fuck
He
did
calls
call
them something. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, something wild. Something wild. But we're getting
Like-
ahead of ourselves.
We are getting a little ahead of ourselves, but I'm bringing that up because that was one of my favorite episodes.
So angered.
That's a great episode.
It's a
So
good
going,
episode.
all right. So season one, I skipped those episodes. Home, the episode where they go back to Lawrence. That was a good
Oh,
episode.
That's a
is that
good
with the black
one.
lady?
Their
Yeah,
mother,
yeah,
their mother comes back. Yeah, and then the
yes.
black lady.
The,
Yeah,
does the black lady come back?
she,
She's
she,
mentioned, I think.
I think she even mentioned, but I do know she eventually does die. And I don't think you get to see it. I think they just say,
Yeah, no,
what's
because
his
don't they
face
talk to like her
dies.
niece or something?
Yeah, and then her niece is like the person that they like connect with.
Yeah, it's her niece because I remember. Yeah, because she has the
Yeah,
same type of like
yeah,
power or
she's got the
whatever
same
as
power.
her. Yeah, as her aunt or grandma, whoever it
Yeah,
is. It's somebody that's related to
yeah,
her because I remember her
yeah. Her
dad's like
aunt.
against her dealing, like talking.
Yeah, of course. Like your sister does voodoo witchcraft. Like, nah, fuck her. We don't deal with that on.
We don't
um,
deal with our Aunt Pam anymore.
I like her. I like that episode. That's
She's
a good
great.
one. And
that
then
was
seeing their mom again, and then
that was
the fact that
that
there's
was the
just
part that
two
I liked.
ghosts in the house.
And like she fights off the other ghost.
Yeah,
And I thought that was really weird when the episode starts with the closet and obviously this demon is on fire, or you think it's a demon, and it's on fire, and I'm like, why isn't it acting like the demon did in the first episode? This seems off. And then the little girl was completely fine, and I'm like, there's something really off with this one. There's nothing wrong with the little girl. She's not screwed with at all. But all of a sudden the baby gets stuck in the fridge. Okay, something's up. Something's really weird.
You got to get them
yeah,
when they're young. You know, you saw Sam almost get got when they were young, so you got to get the baby when it's young.
yeah. Like that's a good episode, man. Like,
I'm glad that within the first season they start revealing that there's there's other people that were affected like Sam, because
oh,
I
the
I
first
noticed
season.
I noticed in the first episode, I'm like, that's really weird that this demon was just chilling over Sam's crib. Like he had to be doing something. And then you find out that he's been doing some kind of, magic to all these kids. It's like, okay, that makes sense. But like I'm glad that they didn't make me wait until like season 5 to figure that shit out, because I'm like, I figured that out immediately. Um Next episode, we can skip all those. Scarecrow. Scarecrow was great, just like low budget
Which one's
horror.
Scarecrow?
What was Scarecrow again?
That's Dean and Sam end up splitting up, and Sam goes to a bus stop. That's where he first meets Meg.
Yeah, that's when he first meets Meg, and
And
he comes
then
back and saves Sam. He
he,
was that city, and they sacrifice people for the harvest, right?
right, yeah.
Damn, that's season
Uh,
one.
That's season 1.
Damn, all this stuff happens. I forget. You know what? I'm
Damn.
thinking as a season is like 10 to 13 episodes. I
Season
forgot
1's
season one
22
and
episodes.
yeah, they got time.
Damn.
Each one being 45. They got
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Damn, you're right. All right, yeah, that was a good episode. Like, especially when it's like, oh, they freed the first two people,
Hmm.
and then it's like, yo, we still need two more. Then they got Sam, no, they got Dean and like the niece,
Yep.
and then like the aunt and uncle got in the end.
And it was fucked
Oh,
up because the niece knew what was going on. Like
yeah,
she knew the entire time. It's not like they were keeping that a secret from her. But now all of a sudden she's gotta go. It's like, how fucked is that? Your own people basically betrayed you.
yeah, it's like we
Um,
need it for the harvest, and then Sam meets Meg, which we just think she's just some random girl at the bus stop trying to run away.
I
Until she slits that man's throat in a goblet.
When that
The goblin
happened,
has a phone call.
yeah.
I was like, hello? What?
But didn't anybody think that it was odd? Because they show you Sam walking down the road, waiting for somebody, waiting for a car to pass, and then all of a sudden he turns around and suddenly there's somebody there. They weren't there before, and I'm like,
I mean,
no, immediately.
if the camera wasn't on them.
Sam be lost in thought. She could have just walked up.
Well,
Yeah.
the
Especially if
camera.
the camera wasn't on it.
No, the camera deliberately shows you like a wide shot before then, and then shows you over Sam's shoulder. I'm like, that girl was not in the shot before. Like She just
She could have
popped
walked
up.
out. You act like people. You act like people can't
Wait,
walk.
see, that's becoming a time lapse, like
Yeah.
cinematography stuff. I never even thought of it that way.
Well, and then she, when she's on her phone call at the end, she even says, she's like, I could have taken him out at any second. I could have taken him out at
Yeah,
any second. And absolutely,
demons are
Yeah,
she's
that's
problems at
right.
that
baby
point.
Sam. That's
Yeah,
baby
demons are
Sam.
problems at that point. Like, yeah, they can't fist fight them currently.
Um, Next up is Faith, which was an episode that I really dug, partly because Faith is the one where there's the preacher man who's healing people, but then one
That's a
of
good
the
one. That's a good
Oh,
one.
one of the other people that
yeah,
he heals has to die. That
Yeah, he was
yeah.
using Reapers. That's a good one.
I really dug that. Yeah, this is the introduction of the Reapers. Um,
Yep.
I dug that one because Dean felt really bad by the end of it. And that
Oh
was
yeah.
that's the first time where he felt like, did we do the right thing? Because
Yeah, he felt bad twice.
he felt bad twice. The preacher man had
Yep.
nothing to do with anything, and then that girl that he had a thing for, she really needed to get over her cancer, and
Yeah,
now she wasn't going to get over her cancer. She was
She
probably going to
wasn't.
die.
yeah.
She's probably gonna
So
die. Like, yeah.
like I'm
Fuck.
All because of the wife. All
Yep,
because of the
Yep.
wife.
yep. And then as soon as the beads go, the Reaper goes for her. I'm like, good, she fucking deserves it. This bitch
That
deserves to
baby's
go.
free.
Bro
But
said, "I've been a slave
at
for
least
too
what we
long."
could have did, at least what would have been a cool little thing, but it would have made the ending happy, which I feel like it was better not being happy, was if like Dean would have been like, "Oh, if you're gonna kill her, do this," and then like she dies of a brain tumor, and the other girl becomes healed.
That may have been too happy for that episode.
Yeah, I was like, with
But it
episode
would have
that
been
made the episode
comeuppance.
ending too happy.
It would have been revenge, but especially by that point, there aren't a lot of reoccurring characters in season one. So I definitely don't think they wanted to make a girl who could possibly come back for Dean or
Yeah.
Sam.
Well, you
Uh,
never know because like once you see like Route 666, whatever the episode is,
mhm.
like that girl seemed like she was gonna come back. Like they kind of like they were just yucking and Dean was getting into her and stuff like that, and you never see that bitch again.
Hmm.
Never do.
Never. No, like I said, the only bitch from season one I remember is the chick from that episode with the painting, and like she came back up one other time, I think.
Hmm.
That's about it.
That's about it.
But yeah, that episode made Dean feel like really human. Like, yeah, I understand.
Very very human for season one.
Yeah, especially
Uh,
did we do the right things? Like, Sam, someone died,
yeah,
so I could live.
he's very much like, did we do the right thing? And that like I really felt bad for him. If I remember correctly, that was one of the episodes that the list was like, you can watch it if you want, and I was like very happy that I did because that was a great episode.
It was a good
Uh,
episode.
Nightmare, where Sam finds another person who has his ability, or who was also affected at night, or like 6 months after they were born. Um,
What power did they have?
that guy's got telepathy.
Ah, that episode's fucking crazy, and that dude's face is forever burned in my mind because when I see him in other stuff, I'm like, oh, it's him.
You you saw you can just immediately see his like the vein in his head popping out.
Yeah, like he was in the Last of Us TV show. I remember when I saw him, I was like, hey, it's him. And he was in something I watched recently too.
Hmm.
Can't remember, but he was in another show that I watched recently. Oh no,
uh,
there it is. He's in
Wait,
Violent
is that the
Night.
one with the twin?
n-
No,
no,
that's not
no,
the one with
no.
the twin.
Well, that's season two.
He's
We'll
he's
get to that.
yeah, he's in Violent Night.
Oh, I still haven't seen Violent Night. I was thinking about that. I need to see that movie.
Yeah, I watched it with Mariah. It's a little. She's not really heavy into gore, and by the end, that movie does get pretty gory.
Okay. Well, that's exactly what I was expecting out of that movie. I was not expecting a quality movie from that, so I really want to see it. Um. Shadow. That's the first episode where all three of them are together,
Oh,
and
what happens?
Meg
What happens?
comes back.
Oh yeah, and is that the one where the father turns all the water to holy water?
No, that's the finale. That's the finale of season one. That's when
Okay, so
he gets left with, or maybe it's not the, maybe it's the second to last episode. But yeah, that's when he goes up against Meg on his own. Um, this was
so what happens in this one?
this one they're in Chicago, and
Mhm.
she just shows up, and
Chicago.
Sam immediately knows something's off. He's like, "How did she just know to show up? This isn't good. Something's wrong." And then she starts attacking them, knowing that they'll call Dean, and it all turns out to be knowing that they'll call John, and that ends up becoming a trap. And at the very end, even though they haven't seen each other in so long and they've just apologized to each other,
They're like, we got to
uh,
separate.
yeah, John, they're like, John, you gotta
Yeah,
go. And
you're weaker with us.
that was actually really disappointing for a couple reasons. Like, one, you finally got to see them be a team, and within minutes it's over. So,
Yeah.
but at the same time, story wise, I kind of got it. It got ruined by the end of the season when they're all of a sudden chilling for like 3 episodes straight. And you're like, what happened to
Yeah.
the whole like we can't chill together thing? Um, Next one was Hell House.
Family's gotta have a good time.
Oh, house.
Hell House is one of my favorites for a lot of reasons. Um, they find a house in the middle of the woods that
Yep.
somebody's put a bunch of symbols on,
Uh-huh.
and there's
Is that what the ghost facers?
yes, yeah,
Oh,
there's
that's
like
Oh,
why.
YouTubers.
Yeah. Yeah, the ghost facers. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the one episode. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I really dug that episode.
That became its own web series, by the way.
Did it really? Oh,
Yeah, the ghost facers got their own little web series spinoff.
oh my god, that's awesome. Yeah,
Ghost
that
facers.
that was just a fun one for me because, like, one, it's the first one that does not take itself very seriously. It's not serious at all, and the fact that the ghost just kept getting more and more beefed up because they've realized that whatever people believe will become the truth about the ghost. So they're like, well, now we need to make people believe something, but give it a weakness, basically. Uh, that was such a creative episode. You don't see shit like that usually, so I really dug that one. Also,
They bring up that sign only, I believe, one other time. It's not used. They bring it up. Like, could it be this? And it's like, oh no, it's not that.
that episode, another thing that I loved about that episode is it takes place in Richardson, Texas, and I'm like, bitch, I know where Richardson is. There's no woods in Richardson. I don't know where the fuck this house is supposed to be. Even in 2006, there was no fucking woods in Richardson. I don't know where you want me
Not
to.
that you knew of.
But no, there's it's Richardson is immediately north of Dallas. There's nothing. It's
You
always
weren't looking hard enough, bro.
it's always been very suburban. There's no woods out there.
Let me ask 2006 Derek. Oh wait, he wasn't there.
Fuck off. I know what's over there. Like,
Oh wait, he wasn't there.
Like when you start going north into like Plano and then Allen and then McKinney and Frisco, like the more north you get, the newer the houses are. Richardson is like and like most of the houses in Plano are from the 90s. Richardson, most of those houses are from the 80s. So if like there shouldn't be anything from over there. There's no fucking woods in Richardson. I'm telling you, there hasn't been
That you
in
know
fucking
of.
decades.
That you know of.
Decades. That is decades. We're in 20. We're
23.
in 20, yeah,
We are. You're right.
yeah. There you go.
Fair
That
point.
is decades.
Fine. But yeah, I genuinely like that episode. Final three. Dead Man's Blood. Oh, that's the episode with the first episode with the cult. That's the first episode where they get the cult, and there's a bunch of vampires. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, is that with the black dude?
No, that's season 2.
Okay, so this one is just like, wait, is that the one with the good vampires?
No, they're all shitheads. That's
I
the,
don't know.
the good vampires is also season 2.
Oh, well.
Like a bunch of vampires kill somebody. It turns out to be one of John's old friends, and he had the Colt, which was like this legendary gun that only had 13 bullets made for it, and 5 of them were already used up. And you know,
1 second, fellas. I'll be right back. I will be back. But
okay.
You guys can watch it.
And they end up wasting like 3 bullets in that episode, and so there's only like 3 bullets after that. I may have,
Happens, man.
I may have done the math wrong, but I know that the cult is important for the rest of the show, but like those vampires were they were really lame. It wasn't that special of an episode at all.
I mean, I think it's just a thing of like, this will just definitely solve this versus how do we solve this problem? Because I mean, you gotta remember, they're still baby Sam and Dean.
Yeah, they very much
They're
are.
not they're not taking out these things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
they are baby Sam and Dean.
they in that episode they don't even know the rules for vampires. They're surprised when the sunlight doesn't bother. The sunlight only kind of bothers them. And John's like, it's basically just a sunburn for them.
Yeah. They're just white people at the beach without sunscreen.
Fuck. They're me every summer.
Yeah.
I just walked.
You're a vampire?
I walked to the mailbox and I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Why am I red?
Yeah. Oh man, Disneyland's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. Don't worry, man. We'll get you a parasol.
You know
and a sun hat.
No sun hats. The parasol maybe. No sun hats.
Nah, we'll get you a sun hat. We can't have you out there burning. You don't have the good resistance like us melanated people.
I was gonna say, I wish I had some melanin in my skin. Damn it.
I mean, you do, just not
I wish I
enough to
had
do anything.
more melanin in my skin.
There you go, buddy.
And no, it doesn't mean that I'm... Before anybody says something, no, that doesn't mean I want to do blackface or anything like that.
He does. He wants to do blackface.
I don't wish that I was black. I'm not going to make myself
He does.
Surgically, like, whatever.
He will.
I'm a white person. I'm not joking when I say that I'm a white person who burns incredibly easy. Especially when you consider I'm one of the white people who actually likes to spend time outside. So it's really annoying in the summer.
Y'all just be burning. I don't know.
So next up is Salvation.
I worry for y'all sometimes.
You should see me when I go to the public pool. And
no.
It's me and a bunch of other white people. And we're all frolicking and having fun. And then I walk home and it just hurts all of a sudden.
It just hurts. Ow. Pain.
It burns. My eyes. It burns.
My eyes. It burns.
Oh shit.
Slap that in there real quick.
Yeah, I will. For you.
Thanks, editing Derek.
And this is the main reason we don't let Quincy edit. It has nothing to do with the fact that he refuses.
He does refuse to edit. Derek basically gave that boy a way out.
Yeah. He wrote his way out.
No, you wrote his way out.
I did write his way out. He fucking ruined our song. Moving on from Supernatural for just a second. fucking Ed and I were doing a parody of Hamilton for at one point this last weekend, and fucking Quincy interrupted it to just be angry at the two of us, and I'm like, "You ruined everything."
You
Stupid
threw
son
off
of a
my
bitch.
groove.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I posted. You threw off my groove. um,
It was vibing. It was a vibe.
it wasn't. Well, I was having fun. I was even listening to the song on repeat so that I could plan my next lyrics. I'm like, well,
Wow.
let's see what Ed throws down. I'm gonna try and plan some stuff. Like maybe I don't know how many lyrics he's gonna go deep, but I'm planning. I'm thinking. I'm planning.
Bro
And
was planning.
sometimes
I had to come up with that shit off the top of my dome. I had to just remember how the song went. Did.
why you have the internet?
Well, because what was I doing at that time? Where was I?
Masturbation.
What was I doing? No. What was I doing?
College football.
I don't even remember. Was I at home?
Probably.
I don't even remember where I was.
Where else would you have been on
Probably.
that day?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to remember. Who knows?
All
It
right.
could have been anywhere.
So next episode is Salvation,
Uh-huh.
which is the one where
Uh-huh.
Sam and Dean decide that they're gonna try and stop the yellow-eyed demon from getting another child, and then John goes after Meg.
Uh,
Do you want to?
oh, okay. So in the previous one where they dealt with Meg, did they throw her out of a window?
Yes, yes, that's the episode where they throw her out the window.
Okay.
This is
Wait,
the
this is the
episode.
one where they throw her out the window?
No. The first, the
Oh,
previous one
the
with Meg.
last time
Yeah.
that they were okay. Yeah.
So
The yellow eyes going after
this
a child.
this is the one where that Quincy was mentioning where they put the holy he puts the holy water in the water supply,
Oh yeah.
which was smart as fuck if we're being honest. Like
You gotta do these things
he
sometimes, bitch.
he starts to walk into the trap and then he thinks about it and then goes back out. And I'm like, look at you, John. You're smarter than anybody gives you credit for.
I don't think anybody was saying that he wasn't smart, especially when it came to demons.
I don't know.
I
There's
feel
a
like they trusted that man exclusively.
I feel like Dean trusts him, especially when you get to season
Dean
two.
definitely does trust him
Especially when you get to season
because
two. I
Dean's that child.
Yeah, he's
Go
daddy's
ahead.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you get to season two, like you start to learn a little bit more about John, and especially then you're like, John was not good. He was not good at this. He kind of
He
got
was
lucky.
not.
Um,
He
if,
did get lucky, and he was definitely like I don't know if they show them inside the hotel in a flashback, but it's like they had a rough life.
they sort of
Like
talk about it.
him
I
deciding.
haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, they you'll get some flashbacks about their to sprinkled across the multiple seasons and everything, but he was definitely it's one of those things where it's like a person being obsessed with this thing like unhealthily
Hmm.
because they're trying to get closure in the only way they know how, which for John it's trying to get revenge for, like finding out what happened to his wife. So he's obsessed with that.
Yeah.
And then for like some other people, it's something like, oh, I have to do this thing I have to like complete this thing or whatever. So, and it leads them to just kind of forget about every other priority and everything else that, like, other ways that they can do this in a healthier manner that wouldn't cause such strife and turmoil for their loved ones around them. In
Yeah.
this case, his two sons that are children.
Yeah, they're just
Like this
babbies.
happened when you, yeah, like this happened when your youngest son was a baby,
Yeah.
like probably fresh out the womb.
Yeah, they said 6 months. He's only 6 months old when that happens.
Yeah, fresh out the womb.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No wonder Mary got. She was still recovering.
Yeah, no shit. Um, and like in that going back to that episode home, they mention for the first time the Winchester uh body shop, the auto shop that they work at, which actually is a main part of the Winchesters. And the dude that he owned it with at the time, he's like, yeah, one day after, after a couple months after his wife died, he just up and left. He sold he gave me the entire auto shop by myself, and I was alone. He just up and left one day and took his kids, and it's like, damn, this man was like, he was losing it. He was not okay.
Yeah, his wife died, and didn't he? Did they showed the flashback of what happened to Mary, right?
Yeah, the fire.
Yeah, and didn't he see that happen?
Yeah,
Yeah, so like, of course he lost it. I would have lost it too. You mean to tell me I come in like my wife is checking on our son, and then I come in because I hear something, and I look, and my wife is attached to the ceiling, burning. Like I, I don't know what life is anymore.
well, okay. So one of the reasons I bring up that he went a little crazy is because they explained that there were other people who got got when their kid was 6 months old. He wasn't the only
Yeah.
one, and
No, because the thing about it, I don't know if they've said it or anything and whatnot, but you meet some people where it's like if you like nothing happens
yep,
to some of them.
yep,
Yeah, where it's like some families nothing happens. The only reason that Mary got because she walked in. If she
right,
wouldn't have walked in, all that would have happened was Yellow Eyes would have thing, and like everything would have been Gucci
yeah. So
as much as it possibly could have been.
that comes up with the episode with the twins and how they can both talk and convince people to do stuff. And the good twin was his mother burned, but the bad twin, his adoptive mother didn't burn because she never walked in.
Yeah,
He was just evil. He was just following what the demon told him to do, what the yellow-eyed demon told him to do. Um,
yeah. So
so
like Sam and Dean would have been Gucci. Like maybe Sam would have started tweaking out and everything. Mary probably would have known what was going on after a little bit. It'd be like, Sam's acting kind of funny. I need to figure this out. And
that
then, maybe they would have had a happy life.
that's one of the only things that I only know because you guys have told me is that Mary this timeline Mary already was a hunter. I know of course she's a hunter in the Winchesters timeline, but um,
Yeah.
you also told me that like John isn't a hunter until she dies. So
Yeah. Because that,
I
that was the whole thing about the Winchesters. Like, it was weird. Trailer shows John, like, knowing about all that stuff. And like, wait a minute.
so is it because I'm very curious, like the way they word things on the Winchesters. This is okay to spoil for me. Um,
Okay.
they Dean hands him the note, and he's like, "I was just speeding things along." Is is there going to be some kind of flashback after Mary's death where John finds the note about the Men of Letters, or are the boys going to find out about the Men of Letters?
Um, what is this? I believe I could be entirely wrong. I might be getting some things mixed up. I believe John never officially finds out
Hmm.
that his dad is a man of letters,
Okay,
but the boys are the ones that get the letter like from like their grandpa. Like they find that letter
they get it from
because
their grandpa.
No, I mean like John's dad
Yes.
wrote him a letter. I think what
Okay.
happened was John's dad wrote a letter to John
Uh-huh.
explaining the whole Men of Letters thing
Yes,
because
that
I think
happens in the show.
yeah, yeah. So he writes that, and he's supposed to give it like John's supposed to get it, so John can become a man of letters
Hmm.
because it is like the same thing kind of happens with Mary and John, but just on two different sides of the whole supernatural spectrum.
Gotcha.
So it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like Mary, she's a hunter, family's hunters. John, he's supposed to be a man of letters, like ish, but he never gets the letter, so he doesn't ever learn about that stuff officially until Mary dies. But the boys, when they come across the letter that was supposed to go to John, so that's probably why Dean had it. I'm thinking about it
Yeah.
because I can't remember what they do with that letter.
That's possible. God, I wish you guys would watch Winchesters. I really do. It's not. It's. Oh, I love it. It's
Nah,
not
man, it's
bad.
bad. We're committed now.
It's so not bad. I really dig it.
Nah, it's bad, man. We're committed. We can't go back.
No, I mean,
We standing on business.
you can go back. I've given up I've given up on Supernatural a few times. This is me coming back finally.
For Supernatural
I
a few times.
I've
Yeah, that's
watched.
because you ain't standing on business.
I've seen the first episode like 3 times. Um,
Dang.
it's not, like I said earlier. It's not a great first episode.
I would have given up on it if I had seen the first episode 3 times.
I mean, I gave up on Fate Zero 4 times after watching the first episode, and then
Dang,
finally
four
watched it
times?
the fifth time, and then after I got to episode 2, it was
Dang.
fine. The first episode of Fate Zero is terrible. I've said this before.
You have said this before.
The first episode of Fate Zero should be taught in classes. That's how bad it is. Like, this is what you shouldn't do on a first episode. And
Jay, you hate that show.
that first episode's bad, Ed. There's literally a scene
It's
where
bad.
2 dudes circle a third dude holding glasses of wine in their hands, and they just exposit all this details about what the show is gonna be, and you're just like, I'm fucking bored listening to you two. Holy shit! How am I supposed to care? Because I don't. Um. So yeah,
Crazy.
I don't like I mm, if if you manage to sit through the first episode of Fate Zero in one try, comment down below. But yeah, I don't I don't fuck with season 1 of that shit. Or episode 1 of Fate Zero. So the final episode of season 1 of Supernatural is the Devil's Trap, where
Oh boy.
they go to Bobby for the first time, and when they go to Bobby, um, they get Meg and they put her in I guess Meg comes to them technically, and they put her in the room with the Devil's Trap or
Where it
whatever.
happened?
The room where it happened. The room where it happened. The room where it happened. And so
He's
they
like a sleeper agent.
uh binary. Anyway. So they put her in the Devil's Trap and whatnot. That episode was actually, you see them go up against the yellow-eyed demon for the first time because he ends up possessing John towards the end of the episode, and Dean immediately realizes like that's not him and pulls the Colt on him. That episode was
As you do.
it was kind of disappointing, if I'm honest. Like
Damn.
as a season finale, I'm like, yeah, the yellow-eyed demon's here, and yeah, it's basically trying to get them to fucking kill their dad. But I didn't feel like the stakes were high enough. So
Well,
I
of course they're not high enough, Derek. How would stakes get high anyway? They can't smoke weed.
listen. All you gotta do is put some marijuana on them steaks and then flip them both sides,
I don't
baste them
think
in
that's a
butter.
good idea at all. We do not, nah, do not do that.
Hold up. Marijuana butter? That's totally fine.
How are you even supposed to cook that? Like,
People use marijuana butter all the time. That's not a you
I
could
feel like you,
you use
I
it
feel
like
like if you're
regular
cooking
butter.
it, okay, but like in the fact that you're spreading it, because I feel like if you heat it up, wouldn't that like, I don't know, activate the weed? I don't.
It would technically, but
Yeah, yeah.
it
So
it's
I
also in
don't think you
much
can use
lower
marijuana butter
doses.
for a steak.
It's in much lower dosage than like a blunt. A blunt is densely
Oh,
packed down, whereas it's mixed in with the butter. You're not gonna get high off of the butter. You're just gonna feel a little bit relaxed, especially if, like people who have joint pain tend to use marijuana butter in like their toast and whatnot. Not that it doesn't. It's a more natural thing than using something like Bear or like aspirin to
uh,
fix that problem. And it's a little more seamless for them, and I get that.
I see, I see, I see, I see.
But going back to the finale, the one really good thing I will say about that finale was that the ending was fucking amazing. I did not see the ending coming, where they're all bitching in the car, arguing with each other about whether or not they did the right thing, and then all of a sudden they get T-boned out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, how are you gonna how are you gonna go up from this? And then, like Quincy said, we got the Reaper episode at the start of the
Yes,
season
sir.
two.
Yes, sir.
Um, so let's skip over that a little bit. Let's go to the clown episode. Not because I want to talk about the clown episode, but
It's
because
because he wants to talk about the clown episode.
I want to talk about Joe and Ellen and Ash at the Roadhouse. Um, you
Showdown. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
you know way more about the show than I do. I was kind of surprised to get characters that were going to stick around because they are throughout season two, and
Yeah.
I don't know how much they're going to stay on the show, but they're very interesting, especially Ash. Ash is really
Ash is
funny.
the daughter, right?
No, Joe is the daughter. Ash is the dude with the
Joe
mullet.
is the Ash is the. Okay, okay.
Ash.
Ash. They all show back up. Like all of them do show back up later on at different points and stuff. So like Joe Joe pops up for a very like I guess you could say important. I don't know. Like she's there for like the whole episode in the episode that she's in. Like she's a part of that episode. So she's there. Um, Helen, they mention her a lot. I think they mention her like a pretty often, and she does pop back up a couple of times.
So far, a lot of times she's the guy in the chair. There's episodes
Yeah,
where you don't see her, but they call her for help, and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
they'll just be
yeah.
like,
Though
"Oh,
that
Ellen said
happens
this."
for a decent amount. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. They show back up.
Ash, the dude
Ash,
with the
funny
mullet.
enough,
Go ahead.
Ash comes up at a very, very important time.
Okay. All right. So
He
I will be
is
seeing
he
more
is
of him.
basically he is a kind of the whole reason that they succeed in that adventure that he pops back up in.
Okay. I'm I'm enjoying them because they show up from time to time, and Ash especially like there's an episode I don't even remember the context, but they go knock on his door and he shows up ass naked, and he's like, "What do you guys need?"
Yeah,
And they like he explains it. And
yeah,
he goes, ah, damn. I guess I'm gonna have to put on pants for this one. Like, all right.
yeah.
Um, Bloodlust. Oh, okay, so Bloodlust is the first one with Sterling K. Brown, uh, the Black
Don't know who
Vampire
that
Hunter.
is.
You don't know who Sterling K. Brown is?
Ah,
He's like really famous now.
I don't know names of actors.
He's
I've never learned names of actors.
wait, he was
Shoot,
in
well,
Black Panther?
sometimes actors that are very integral to my what you call it. I think I've seen him. I mean, obviously I've seen him, but I just don't. I couldn't tell you an actor's name. Like I could, if you told me what they were from, I'd probably be able to remember. Like, oh, that's them. I know who you're talking about because I have the dude face in my head because of Supernatural. He's the only black vampire dude.
Mhm.
So vampire hunter. So like, I know who that is.
He
But
was he
yeah,
was on a
I don't know
show.
actors.
He was on a show called This Is Us that was really popular. I
Okay,
don't
I
know.
was just about to say when you said a show, I was like, isn't he the black dude on This Is Us?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
I guess he's the
Yeah,
voice of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anstrom Levy in Invincible. I don't know who that is, but
Oh, wow, that's him?
apparently.
Have you not seen Invincible?
No, I have not.
Oh,
I
like not at all.
I read the comics for quite a bit back in the day in one go and never reread them, never picked them up again, and I've just sort of like
Oh, so
forgotten them
you
from
like you
memory.
might not remember anything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's Angstrom Levy is like this black scientist dude, and
Mm,
he's well, I guess for this one, he'd be very important to season 2 of. And
mm.
he's the dude that can what you call it, can travel through different dimensions.
Oh,
If
okay.
you remember anything of that, yeah,
I
yeah,
do
that guy.
vaguely remember that, but yeah.
Yeah, so he voices him inside the show.
Um, so that is also the episode you brought it up earlier, the episode with the good vampires who are like, please don't kill
Okay, yeah,
us because we're
that makes
gonna.
sense as to why he shows up there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, now I'm remembering. Yeah, because there's the good vampires. They don't actually eat people or something. Eat on
Yeah.
animals on some Stefan type shit.
Yeah.
But with less problems because, as far as I know, rippers don't exist in that world.
Right, exactly. There's no rippers. They
Yeah,
do. I like that they give a caveat though. Like, it's not like Supernat or it's not like Vampire Diaries or Twilight where it's like, oh, you can just eat animals. In the case on this show, it's like the animal blood doesn't taste great. They don't really enjoy it.
yeah.
It'll
I mean,
satiate them, but they
yeah,
hate the taste. And as a result, it's
yeah,
easier to go for the people, but they because they have a moral
yeah. But the
obligation, they choose not
taste,
to.
yeah. I mean, yeah, because Vampire Diaries kind of does that. I don't remember if Vampire Diaries they mentioned taste or anything. I think it. I think yeah, it is taste or something. I know it's definitely not as it doesn't make them as strong. Like yes, they can survive on it, but they're not as strong as if they drank human blood in
Yeah,
Vampire Diaries.
yeah, I do remember that on Vampire
But
Diaries.
I don't remember. Yeah, I do not remember if they say that it does taste worse than human blood. I'm pretty sure Damon says it tastes bad because he's like, oh yeah, it doesn't even taste that great. But you know, that could be Damon.
Yeah, yeah. Damon just bitches about shit to bitch about shit.
Yeah, yeah. So that could be that. But I don't know. But yeah, it's like vampires and supernatural. Those good ones, they're pretty. They're cool. and it's just the black dude. He's
He's a whole ass menace. So I feel like we've stalled enough talking about other stuff so that we
oh
could.
Quincy's not coming back.
He's
Quincy's not coming
he
back.
said he was though.
Quincy's not coming back. I
Should
can tell you right here, right now, Quincy's not coming back.
should we end it or
How long has it been?
let's
How long has
look.
the podcast been in total?
It's been 2 hours and 12 minutes.
And there you go. I mean, unless you want to try and stall for 3 hours, but I can tell
Yeah.
you right here, right now,
I don't
that boy is on the phone with his girlfriend.
I'm gonna okay.
Guarantee. I don't know what he's doing.
I'm gonna quickly go to just a handful of episodes that I really liked. Since he's going wrap up with we start with Supernatural. Let's wrap up with Supernatural.
Oh boy.
Just do a couple more episodes. We briefly touched on Night Shifters. That was a really fun one where they go to the bank and there's
those were the ones. Oh, the bank. Oh yeah, that was such a. I really loved that episode.
That episode was dope.
One of my personal favorites. Yeah.
And when you get to the like one of the things that I don't think we mentioned when you and I did the podcast last week. Season 1, the music is fucked up on streaming. It doesn't have the original songs that were originally broadcast, and I realized this.
Oh really? I
I
didn't know that.
In the first episode when there's the whole scene where Sam's going through his tape collection and he's like, you need to update your tape collection, and Dean's like, why? He's like, well, first of all, you have a tape collection. Second of all, these are like the best of mullet rock. And he's like, well, driver picks the music, shotgun shuts this cake hole. After that line, AC/DC Back in Black is supposed to start playing. And when I was watching the episode, because I had seen that clip a bunch, when I was watching the episode, it wasn't. And I'm like, what the fuck is this generic rock song? Like, this is basic bitch music. This isn't even... I know that, like, classic rock is, like, the point of this show. Like, it's a big part of the culture. And I ended up reading up on it, and apparently season 1 is the only season where they didn't have the rights to any of that music. So when season 2 onwards, all of that on streaming is fine. And I watched. So when I got to the Night Shifters episode, and you get to the very end of the episode, and they've knocked out the 2 SWAT guys, and they're now parading as SWAT guys going up to the Impala. And Renegade by Styx starts playing. I'm like, dude, this is the perfect song for this. This is great. And I if they didn't have the rights for season 2 and they were just putting in generic rock songs, it would not have hit. That scene would not have hit because that song just really works. Like, honestly, go back and pick some random episodes that the music hits on, and just like think about how important the music is to this show. Like, it really works.
You know what? I can pull up Netflix right now.
Another episode I really wanted to talk about because I fucking loved it.
Why can I play GTA 3 on Netflix?
Yeah, on your phone.
Why can I do that? Why can I play San Andreas? Why can I play Vice City?
Because Netflix has a whole gaming. It's like a whole gaming platform. Has been for years.
What the hell is this nonsense? Why can I play Simulator 23? What?
It's a whole ass thing.
No. Why? This makes no sense.
Another episode I wanted to talk about was Tall Tales.
12 minutes is on here.
which is
Which one's that one?
that's the episode where just it starts off with somebody being or like a teacher being murdered by a ghost that kills adulterous men, and then the next thing that happens is somebody gets abducted by aliens, and then a crocodile eats somebody's arm off in the sewer, and like
Oh,
the entire
yeah,
time Dean and Sam are just bitching at each other. And then you get to the end and it turns out it was Loki the whole time.
yeah. Loki's great.
It was so like that that
Loki's great.
that episode was what I wanted, like what I've been expecting from Supernatural, where it's really goofy but also like good sci-fi and good fantasy and just good. It's just good television. I really dug that episode. I'm like, I want more episodes like this. I hope the show gets to be more like this.
My favorite is who was this chick? Dean tells Sam what their father told him before he died. Sneaks off to Indiana alone. Oh, I guess I don't remember what that one is. There's another episode that has Loki in it. I'm pretty sure it's after season 2,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the iconic one where Dean goes, "Rise and shine, Sammy." That one's one of my favorite episodes, and I think
Okay.
you'll enjoy it too.
Okay. Um,
I can't tell you all who's in it because then it'll spoil.
that's fine. Just let me let it be a surprise. I will say,
Yep, I
I'm
will find
probably
out what season it is though.
I'm probably gonna take a few days off because I have been marathoning this show for like 10 days.
Yeah,
And like I've never binged a show like this, and it was just to get to this episode, which Quincy has mostly missed. Um, and I really wanted I really wanted to be able to have the discussion, and especially knowing now that Quincy's not going to be on the podcast as much, and he's definitely not going to fucking stick around. Um,
you did
I
that. You
I
are the
have
reason that is happening.
I'm okay. Like I'm fine with that. But that also means I have less of a reason to watch this show because I know that I can talk to you about it whenever. But like if I'm going to cram my time in with Quincy just so that we could talk about Supernatural, I'm going to take this at a leisurely pace. I'm going to watch what I can because I'm
We're
getting
the Gotcha Gang podcast. All of us are supposed to be a thing.
we could all be a thing, but like because I know I can talk to you about it whenever, I don't need to like speed run it as much, you know?
Nah,
Where
man, you have to speed run it.
dude, I don't know if I can. I don't know
Speed
if
running is the only way.
is it though? Is it anyway?
Yeah, man.
Nah.
Speed running is love. Speed running is life.
Is it though?
Funny enough, I think. Okay, so you're one season away. My favorite episode.
Is it in season 3?
Yeah, it's in season 3.
Okay. Um so another episode I kind of want to talk just quickly want to talk about is the Hollywood Babylon where they go onto a movie set and
Yeah,
they're dealing with that. That episode is fun only because like it's making fun of itself because all of the writers and producers and directors are the writers and producers and directors of the show. So they're just making fun of themselves.
which one is that? Oh wait, isn't it? Wait, is that the one where they go in the real world?
The real world. It's the
That's
one
the
where
one. I don't know.
there's a movie set about a horror movie.
Oh, oh yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, they're on the movie set. I remember.
But
I was trying
that
to remember. I was like, movie set one.
that one's just stupid fun. It's not even necessarily a good episode. It's just dumb. Um
You're gonna love the Real world.
I'm 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 probably gonna
That
watch
comes
the
later.
I'm probably gonna watch the Scooby Doo one tonight, just so that I can get
I
that one in
mean,
my
hey,
system.
Scooby Doo one is great.
Um,
If you like Scooby Doo or if you like Supernatural, it's a good episode. And if you like them both, like Quincy, then you're just having a rousing good.
he said it's in season 14.
I think so, yeah. Let me scroll through season 14 real quick. What is the name of that episode? Um,
I mean, I could
he's
I
13?
could probably just Google. You know what? I'll just
Yeah, just Google the Scooby Doo episode. Supernatural, the Scooby Doo episode.
Scooby Doo Supernatural season 13 episode 16.
I was literally about to be like, watch it be in
It's literally called Scooby Natural. Oh my god. Shit.
Wait, what episode is it?
It says it said season 13 episode 16. I guess Google's
Episode
wrong.
16.
Yeah.
That's oh wait, I'm stupid. I just didn't scroll down all the way because I was like, it stops at 15. What do you mean? Literally scroll down an inch and bada boom.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's such a good episode.
I'm
Everybody
gonna
should watch Scooby Natural.
need to watch it. Um and the last episode that I've seen and the last episode I want to talk about is the episode where Dean gets touched by the djinn and gets to see this. I'm gonna call it an idyllic version of his life, but it's not perfect. Where his mom lives.
See, yeah,
That one was really good because when shows do this kind of like be careful what you wish for type story, they have a really bad problem with just making everything like really nice, and then
yeah.
the character will just turn around at the end and then they'll be like, but you know what, this isn't my life, and it's like, yeah, but that life was perfect. In this case it was like Dean was appreciative of it, but it still wasn't like his life is already isn't perfect, but this wasn't perfect either. And
Yeah,
the idea of not even having, he gets his mom back, but he doesn't get Sam in his life. And so it
wait, that happened. Hold on. There's another. Thinking of that season's mixed up. Let me see. Why isn't Sam in his life?
because it so because they never go demon hunting. um he stays in Lawrence, but
Yeah.
Sam goes to college and they just don't talk to each other, and they've never
What's
really
the name of that
bonded.
episode?
That episode's called What Is and What Should Never Be.
Okay. Is that really the one that happens here? Nah, I gotta skim through this one.
That's season 2, yeah. Um
I was so am I tweaking? Or maybe there's another episode where something like
I mean,
holy guacamole.
it could be the other way around in another episode, like maybe it happens to Sam and Sam gets to see his ideal
No,
version.
it happens to Dean.
Mm.
Holy guacamole. This happened in season 2?
Yeah. Why is this
What
gonna be
the
is
heck?
this gonna be important?
No, it's just I could have sworn that this happened. There was like, because I remember what you're talking about. I
Mhm.
remember it, and I feel like the later seasons are what's more previous ones. But yeah, holy crap, this happened here.
Yeah.
It's either that this is where it happened and my brain's just, or another one happens. Oh, no, this is it. This is the one. Holy guacamole!
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That was a really good episode. I really dug it because, and like I said, because it's not Dean doesn't suddenly get a perfect like. Did you ever see the Naruto movie Road to Ninja?
Yeah, yeah.
That one I really kind of hated because it was like, you know, Naruto gets this perfect life, and the only thing that's really fucked up, I guess, is Hinata. Like Hinata's kind of a bitch.
I mean,
But like,
everybody's personality is different. I mean, and like, yeah, I wouldn't say Hinata was a bitch in that. She wasn't shy. She was way more outgoing and
wasn't
like
she a thug?
she she wasn't a thug. She was just like she knew how strong she was. It was basically Hinata if she had Neji's mindset.
Mm.
So like she knew what she was capable of because Hinata's strong. Like Hinata's one of the strongest people in the village.
But
Like if Naruto and Sasuke weren't, descendants of gods.
yeah. Do you guys have any conversations like that about the other show we're going to talk about?
No, I mean, you saw what we did on Far Cry.
Yeah. I gotta be honest. That's one of the reasons I'm most excited about getting through this.
You saw what we...
I want to be able to experience it. The two of you, like, listen. We're not gonna spoil it because we're probably gonna end up talking about it next week. But like, I was privy to just listening to it, and there were so many people coming and going from that chat, and they could not get a word in edgewise because you two were just doing your thing. And like, to the point where before Quincy like said what everybody's roles were in the chat the other day, I already knew that Quincy was Dean and you were Sam because it's burned in my fucking brain. You could keep going, Dean, Sammy.
Oh, it was too good. It was too good. Far Cry. Oh my god. Far Cry was the most hilarious thing. That whole day was just funny. I'll tell you, like, have you gotten to
I'm not
have
gonna
you
say
gotten
where
to
I'm at. Not gonna say it at all.
okay.
Actually, you know
Okay.
what? I will say where I'm at because I want you to play along with me. Okay?
Okay.
I'm doing a bit on Quincy.
Oh. Okay.
When I
This is
said
hold on. I gotta soak this in. This is unprecedented.
this is
This
very
is history.
unprecedented.
This is history right here. First, the court case between Quincy. Now you're doing. We're changing. Season 2 is about to be.
The rules are different, bitch.
The rules are different.
So I'd like you to reread the texts. I never said that I was watching Supernatural. So
I mean, but we do. Oh, Derek, no.
I never said I was watching Supernatural.
Derek, no.
So here's the thing.
You're not.
I was
No.
actually watching the Winchesters.
Oh no.
Now, here's the part.
No.
Listen,
You're
hear me out,
disowned.
hear me out,
You're
hear me out.
disowned.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. The bit continues. And anybody who listens to the podcast will know. Maybe I'll cut this out just in case Quincy might hear it, even though I'm like 99% sure he will not.
Oh no.
Because after I was done with the Winchesters, I've ended up going and watching all of season 1 of Supernatural. So I have seen season 1, but I'm not gonna present that to Quincy at first.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna let Quincy think that I only watched.
He's gonna ask. He's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, where are you at? What part are you on?"
Well, no. I'm gonna be straight up with it. I've got a plan and everything. This is why I want
jeez.
this is why I want
Derek's
to intro
doing
the
a whole
podcast.
bit.
This is
He's
why I
doing a
want. I've
whole
got
elaborate.
everything planned out.
He's doing a bit. Oh my gosh. I never thought I'd get to see my precious runt turn into a man.
So we're gonna start next week's episode off by talking about the Winchesters. But
You know Quincy's gonna clock out immediately.
I am afraid of that. But eventually,
He's disowning you as soon as you bring it up. This is a no Winchesters. This is a no the Winchester.
I know because he absolutely abhors it, and it's like having seen it, and we're gonna talk about it next week. Having seen it, it's not that bad. It's not that
Oh,
bad.
Derek,
I
girl.
I do
no.
know some spoilers because of the way that the Winchesters ends.
Ends, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it or if you know anything about
I've
it.
seen the end. I've seen the ending clip of the Winchesters, so I know about Dean and
Billy
I
and
forgot
Jack.
the boy's name. Yeah, Jack. That's his name. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it Billy? Is that his name?
The old dude.
Yeah.
Bobby.
Bobby. Sorry, I've only gotten to him. I just finished season one today, so I've only just gotten to him because he shows up in the finale of season one.
Just please, for the love of God, just watch more Supernatural.
I'm going to. We're gonna have
Okay.
because we're not doing that episode today. I'm going to have more to talk about.
Oh jeez. Oh, Derek, I work for your safety, baby girl. Oh no. Oh, you first. Okay. Was it last week or the week before that? The week before that, you already messed up by claiming that me and Quincy equal playing fields when it comes to being your best friend. You messed up there. Now you're watching. You watched. Not even watching. You watched and completed the Winchester. Oh no.
That moment where I claimed you as my best friend, and then I brought it up again last week. It was a joke, and I do appreciate the hell out of you. You are absolutely one of my two closest friends in this world. But obviously, I've known Quincy since we were kids. So
yeah, that's what he was getting at. It's the week before because he was like, "You just doubled down."
Like when he hears me say that, you can it's like that thing from The Simpsons. You can see where his heart breaks.
Yeah,
you can pinpoint the exact second. And then last week I did it again. I'm like, it's my best friend, and you hear Quincy sigh. Oh my god. Yeah, and now the Winchesters thing, all of a sudden it's gonna be divorce court.
yeah. There's gonna be domestic violence is what's gonna happen. There's gonna be
it's
gonna be a Saturday night showdown. Gotcha gang ring. That's what's gonna happen.
But yeah, no, I've got a whole plan. I've got a whole bit planned out, and I need you to play along.
I will see this play out. I guess this is a good thing that you guys allowed me to do bits again. Otherwise, I'd be forced to tell the truth.
And you know what? Like, a part of what made it work was that you never reacted when I was like, "Hey, I'm watching this show. I'm gonna go watch my show." You never played along, and so Quincy
did.
Quincy was the one who was like, "Oh my God, Winchester," or "Oh my God, Supernatural," and I'm like, I'm on episode 4. Never said what I was on episode 4 of. But, yeah. No, Quincy. I let Quincy, imagine whatever he wanted.
Yeah, because I mean, whenever you said it, like I was just like, oh, okay, he's being weirdly vague about whatever he's watching. Oh well, it's probably gonna be some like surprise thing when he gets on the podcast and everything. And then when you said, oh, it's good to watch, a couple of Winchesters hunt demons and stuff, and I was like, oh. Like in my head, I assumed Supernatural because the Winchesters has thoroughly been erased from my brain as a show entirely. And it didn't click until you said earlier, I never said what I was watching. Oh my God. There's no way. There's no way. He would not.
He
He's
wouldn't
not
do this to
stupid enough
Quincy.
to do
He
this.
wouldn't do this to Quincy.
Yeah, he wouldn't do this.
This is
He wouldn't.
this is treason.
Yeah, this is something I would do. I wouldn't see Derek stoop this low.
Oh my god. I don't know, like, and honestly, don't know what made me want to watch the Winchesters.
I
Don't know
don't
what
know
made me
either.
want to start a
Satan
bit.
did. That's what Lucifer did. The whole devil. That's what happened. You were sitting there minding your own business, and Satan was there rubbing his hands together like bird. Like, I can get him to do some devious things right now. Then all the demons down there are like, you gonna make him commit a sin? And it's like, not an actual sin, not towards heaven, towards the Gotcha gang, more specifically,
And that,
his best friend Quincy.
that's why I mentioned the Impala and the Colt.
Oh, brother bear.
This in the chat earlier, because those are two things that are
Two
just so
things.
ingrained in the culture that I
Yeah,
already knew about them beforehand, and I can pass
yeah,
it off as
yeah.
such.
You could easily, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that the Impala, I think, is in the Winchesters because it's their dad's car. So,
No.
oh, it's not their. Are they in
His
the wife's
mom
car then?
their mom has her own car.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
it's
Well,
this
then you're a
like
filthy liar.
yeah, it's this light blue, like it's not even in the
Oh
Impala.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Um
Well, I mean, you still can
I
pass
was
it
even
off because
gonna
you watched season 1 of Supernatural. So,
I was even gonna bring up the driver picks the music, shotgun shuts his cake hole line, because yes, that line is like a popular line from the show. It's also a line in the Winchesters.
oh no, Derek, 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 Derek,
uh
Derek.
and at this point you're an accomplice to murder.
I am, and I'm.
Oh, don't
I
say
don't
it
know what to
hurts.
feel.
This is part of you.
I know, and it makes me. I'm like, oh, this is just too much. But then at the same time, I'm so proud. Oh,
You
I'm,
can't
s-
you can't let it slip at all this week.
I physically cannot. I, it's not gonna slip. It's just, I'm just, I just know how this is gonna play out. Oh, and I never imagined, I would never, me, like personally, I would never.
Oh, this is where you draw the line. Is
This
this?
is where I draw the line. Sure, making someone stop to their partner, a significant other, whatever, to because I am doing a bit that is, possibly intense and whatnot. Sure, I could do that, but downright betraying the line that's been drawn in the sand. You have crossed that entire line by watching the win. Just watching the win alone
Dude, it's not
is.
even that bad. It's like,
I
oh
don't
my
want to hear
god.
anything. I don't want to hear anything. I'm just saying you have thoroughly betrayed by doing this one thing.
Oh yeah. No, like,
You don't
and
even like doing the bit is just gonna put salt in the wound.
if only I could figure out what episode of the podcast it is where he talks about the Winchesters. Has he seen it?
Seen what? The
The
Winchesters?
Winchesters.
No,
Okay, so
no.
this kind of goes back to our whole you hear it's bad and you don't check for yourself. I mean, also if he's not interested in
I
it, that's one
Yeah,
thing.
he's
But
not
like,
interested because of um it messes with the lore. Like
it's
the
an
lore that is.
it's an alt timeline.
Yeah, I know that, but like it's still like that timeline's supposed to be pretty similar to the main timeline. and
I mean, it sort of is. I
and
assume so, but
like the big thing is the main event that happens during that time with their parents is completely and utterly retconned. And um
what, the thing that happens at the end of the thing that happens at the beginning of the first episode of
n-
Supernatural, or is
no,
there something that's going to happen later?
no, there's something that's going to happen that deals with them in that time, because that's like
Oh,
right when that's like right when they're married, isn't it? Isn't the Winchesters when they're married?
they literally meet in the first episode. They're not even married
Okay.
yet.
Oh,
They're
okay.
yeah.
So yeah, so the whole thing that happens when they meet and what is supposed to go down is thoroughly messed up
Huh.
in there. Because okay, what when they
So
meet, what do you know about
here,
um
I don't
their
want to hear.
parents?
I don't want to hear anything.
No, because I
Um,
just want to know. I just how different it is. Because I know the difference. I know how it goes in Supernatural. I don't fully know how the Winchester.
s- so okay. So the way the first episode starts, Dean is narrating it,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
he says he's like, "Let me tell you the story of how my parents met," and he it shows John coming home from the
Yeah.
Vietnam War, and they bump into each other at the movie theater, and they exchange pleasantries, and it's whatever. But then he's so obsessed with finding what happened to his dad, and it turns out that his dad was it. What does it say? It says, I think it just says MOL. It doesn't explain what that is yet, and
Okay.
so
Okay.
he goes
I
and
was about to spoil something for you. Then my bad.
he
Okay,
goes
continue.
and finds this base with her, because she ends up revealing that she's a hunter,
Okay.
and they go find the base of the Men of Letters, and he figures out that that's what MOL stands for, is Men of Letters.
Okay.
And um, from there, they're hunting a bunch of demons, or they're hunting a bunch of demons to try and I think they're called the Atraxi. I think is what they're called. It's something with an A. Um,
Okay.
and when you get to the end of the show, when you get to the end of the first episode, it comes back to Dean in his narration, and he goes, "Now you may have noticed that something's a little different this time around. There's something's a little different with the story. Why is that?" He goes, "All right, I think I'm gonna go find out." And then it shows him writing in his journal, and then he gets in the car and he goes, "We're gonna figure this out together." Like, he's narrating to the audience. He's not talking to anybody in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"We're gonna figure this out together, but remember, I'm the driver, so I pick the music." Um, and throughout the show, he hints through his narration that something is a little off. And when you get to the final episode, and she uses the spoilers, she uses the Impala to send the queen back into like a demon portal, whatever portal she came from.
Uh-huh.
And then Dean comes out and back in the Impala. He basically reveals that, this was an alternate timeline, but the Chuck, who I haven't gotten to yet,
Yeah.
Chuck created fail safes if he ever got killed, and apparently he gets killed in sometime in Supernatural. And as a result, those fail safes are gonna go to other realities and ruin them. And this
Mm.
was just one of those fail safes. And as a result, you guys, your timeline has been disrupted. Um, and so now that we've banished them, you guys won't have to deal with that anymore. Uh, so, and that's it. And then he hands John his journal, and John doesn't touch it the entire episode. And then he hands Mary the Colt, and he says, she goes, "What do you want me to do with this?" And he goes, "If you ever see a yellow-eyed demon, do not hesitate using this gun." And so I knew what was coming in season 1 before I ever got to it. I'm like, okay, there's gonna be a yellow-eyed demon, and that's what kills Mary in the first episode. And so that's kind of all I like. That's
Okay.
basically
It's basically
it.
the Winchester. Okay. All right. So I'm not gonna say anything about Supernatural, but I see how they recovered. I see how they recovered because the way and the reason that we like are know the Winchesters family is because in the trailers, which obviously makes sense because that's a huge plot point.
Mm-hmm.
They do not. Dean doesn't mention anything about noticing that it's. He does not draw attention to the
You're
fact that things are off.
you're not only are you right, the trailer specifically uses the then and now that they adopt for later seasons of Supernatural. Um
Yeah,
and that's misleading because it's openly not a then and now. This is not a Dean is not in the future. Dean is in the past with that, or
yeah,
he's not even in the past. He's in this alternate timeline. So
yeah,
to start the trailer by going then and now, you are misleading people into thinking that it is a
yeah.
or thinking that it's a prequel, and it's not. It's an alternate timeline.
It's a whole different timeline. So it's yeah, it's a pre-sequel
Yeah, and
in an
and
alternate timeline.
like I said, Dean draws attention to the fact that something is off from the beginning, and
Yeah,
I would honestly, the way that season 1 ends, because it ends almost perfectly, like there's really no loose ends. I genuinely wondered if season 2 was even going to involve this timeline anymore, and
I
not.
when you were explaining it and everything, 'cause I know how it ends, how the Winchesters ended too,
Mhm.
and thinking about it with you explaining everything, I could easily see them going through different alternate universes and like, you know, doing this stuff. So there's really no reason to go back to that. It seems
Mhm.
so well bookended
Yeah,
and everything. So like if you were to do a season 2, it would not there'd be no reason to follow that timeline anymore.
yeah,
Like you wouldn't follow that timeline. You could follow a different timeline if you still wanted it to be Mary and John.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Uh,
You could even do
but
an alternate universe where she's a hunter and he is like an active member of the Men of Letters, and they are
yeah, like something
rivals.
different. Yeah, rivals and like
Like,
and whatnot.
do the enemies to lovers
It's a
trope
lovers
with
thing. Yeah, you could do that.
um
So I could see like little changes with each Mary and John that cause the timeline to be different,
right,
and which is due to the fail safes that Chuck implemented.
right. So,
That could work if they like for other seasons. If they're going to do more seasons.
and like both
From what I know, we're getting a season 16 of Supernatural. So
that's what I'm hearing, which is a little wild cuz the way that Dean talks about his universe very much feels like, oh, it's over. Like this is it.
it
We
is.
can't we
It's over. Like
well,
there's
like
the
he
the
makes it seem like there's no like he makes it seem like whatever happens at the end of season 15 is bad and there's no way to go back to it. Like cuz
oh
he specifically tells them, he's like, I'm just looking, like, not only am I trying to stop all these fail safes, I'm also trying to find a universe where my family gets a happy ending. because my brother's still alive and he doesn't get a happy ending. And I'm like, what the fuck does that? What the fuck's gonna happen to Sam? Like,
I guess. I I guess if you can
so
interpret it that way, but I wouldn't. I guess that's weird. That's a weird thing for him to say, but I
he's very pessimistic about his universe.
yeah. I mean, I could, in the way that he views Sam, I could see how he would assume that Sam didn't get a happy ending. But I don't know. There's man, I don't know. It's weird for him to say that, seeing as what happens at the end
Mm.
of season
Yeah, I
15.
mean, yeah, you know a lot more than I do. I know
Yeah.
that Sam that Dean is gonna die at the end of. I mean, I already know that. I think both of them die at some point in the show. Um, that's just one of those things that
They
I
die
know.
a lot in that show.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's not like they die. Oh no, is this number 5 or 6?
Yeah.
Like,
Because I've seen the scene where when Dean comes back and
mhm.
he's with he's
Me
at,
saying like there's only okay.
you said his name is Bobby.
Bobby, yeah.
So he's with Bobby after he comes back from the dead, and he's like, all right, look for like we got to find out where Sam is. Google Sam Winchester. All right, Google Samuel Winchester. Okay, Google Sammy Winchester. Google Wedge Antilles, and that's how they find him. Like, um,
Yeah, no, there's
and
you're in for a ride. You're in for a ride.
yeah, yeah. I I'm also gonna be honest with this bit. I didn't intend to watch season one. I really wanted it to be Winchesters,
To
and that was
just be
it.
the Winchesters.
And so
Now look at you.
I, yeah, look at me. When it was up, my Netflix has lapsed, and for really complicated reasons, I couldn't get my Netflix back. So I ended up buying season one on Google,
Yeah.
and so that's how I'm gonna watch it. But I kind of expected the bit to stop at season one as well, but now I'm like,
Uh-huh.
the way season one ends, I really want to get to season two, and I really want to keep
And
watching it.
that's how it gets.
So
That's how it gets you. It's
so
one of those things. I will tell you this: Supernatural definitely always gets you to like you want to see what happens next. At a point, I can see where people get to where like, okay, is this ever gonna end? Like, it's the rinse and repeat like cycle.
I
But
the rinse and repeat. I kind of felt like in the middle of the season, there's
yeah,
some.
they get into. I guess for me, what helped me get through it is I stopped focusing more so on the like moment to moment demon hunting because
Yeah,
that's basically what supernatural is. It's just basically every episode they're hunting some demon and that's the story you're following.
yeah,
I stopped focusing on that and more started focusing on just Sam and Dean being brothers going on this adventure, and that's where the fun was. Like the demon
yeah.
stuff was interesting, and the lore behind the demons is interesting. Like I'll pay attention to that, but focusing so hard on like, oh, how are they gonna like get around this hunting this demon and whatnot? Like, what are they gonna do? This is really tough. Ah, they might not. It was it because
They
it's like
might not make it in the sixth episode of the season. Yeah, okay. Like
yeah,
you're like,
yeah. Especially knowing that there's 15 seasons, and
yeah,
it's like they're both of them are in the final season,
yeah.
so there's really nothing at stake. So just being
There's
like, how are they gonna get out? Really takes away from.
there's there's a list online, and I had to find it because I was genuinely watching episodes and going, I'm not. This isn't great. And
This isn't great.
I found it's a list that'll tell you these are the important episodes, And then here
Mhm.
are episodes that are not important, but they're just good to watch. And then the
Mhm.
rest of these are unimportant and they're not really great either. You can skip them. And
Yeah.
so I kind of followed that list with season one, especially because I thought we were going to do an episode today. I wanted to at least get a lot of the big points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and genuinely, it looks like a lot of the episodes that I missed, I really did miss nothing because I hit all of the big story beats, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
watching it like
Yeah.
this is great. Watching
I
all
mean that
22, maybe
happens.
not.
That happens with a lot of long form content
Yeah,
and everything when it comes to shows. There's some that are important and some that aren't. So,
like
which is it's fine. It's effectively just the filler thing when it comes to anime, except for
yeah,
it's all technically part of the books and there is no real filler, but
yeah.
it's just some of it's not super important to the main story beats that are happening throughout the 15 seasons.
Well, in the case of this, like there, let's take a show like Doctor Who for instance. There's a lot of like episodes that have nothing to do with the main story, right? You'll just get a fun episode in the middle.
Yeah.
But because that season's only 10 episodes long, you can kind of forgive it. You could be like,
Yeah.
okay, the of course the first episode and the last episode are the most important. But
Yeah.
maybe we'll get a nugget here and there throughout the season, and maybe we'll just get a fun episode. And it's only
Hmm.
8, 10 episodes, what 13 at max. But
Yeah.
this is 22,
20, yeah,
and
yeah.
you're realizing that like the first episode's important. Not a lot of the episodes after that are important, and you're like, the story's not
Yeah.
moving at all, and I still
Season
have a
1
lot.
is Yeah, season 1 is definitely the cuz season 1 it wasn't supposed to be about the Winchesters. It wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be an actual like kind of Goosebumps-esque story type thing where it's
Mm,
like different individual stories and that's how you would get the entertainment going through these different stories and how, you know, this demon was doing this and whatever happened. I assume they would always have like some random characters, or maybe they'd have some similar characters, or maybe it was going to be the Winters in there, like Sam and Dean were in there coming and, finishing off the demon or whatever. However, following the story of how the demon was, or whatever entity monster was terrorizing insert location here.
right.
So that's how you would get that. So I could see how that would work for a long form thing in terms of a season being like 22 episodes because you could focus more on how the demon is doing things and similar to I guess some sort of horror movie and whatnot where you're watching this random family deal with this like entity and you don't really know what the entity is and everything and you're through what it's doing and
Yeah.
then by the end whatever happens whether it gets away and now it's just left like oh my gosh that's just out there now or it does get stopped and it's like oh thank god it's gone now. So season 1 definitely, I guess, since they were finding that like what is the show actually going to be.
Yeah.
So but
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
mean watch you more seasons.
I've also heard that like the first 5 seasons, and like I've heard that this has divided people. The first 5 seasons were like the show was only supposed to be 3, and then the creator expanded it to 5 seasons, and he wanted to end it at 5, but CW was like, no, this is gold, and so
Yeah,
he left it season 5, and there are some people who love it only the first 5 seasons and then they hate everything else, and there's other people who prefer everything after season 5 because like
yeah.
the themes change and everything about the show just feels different. I assume that's when it gets a
I
little bit more goofy.
I do hear that because that's what because when I met Naomi,
Mhm.
that's when I was in the middle
Oh,
and she had watched it and everything and not all the way through. I think she had stopped at season 5
okay.
and she was like, yeah, I just couldn't do it anymore. It was so I think she's in the camp of like season 5 is right near things are like peak supernatural for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because I was telling her because yeah, she was there basically the entire time of me watching Supernatural.
Yeah. And you
And
can't tell me that it's bad, otherwise like that wouldn't have lasted another 10 seasons after that. So like
yeah,
they're doing something
clearly
right,
it was doing
obviously.
some yeah, yeah. But there's definitely I can definitely see because me I usually don't fall off of a thing
Mhm.
like if it's a show or something that is completed or maybe I've caught up to the point where they're at and maybe their season or two comes out.
Mhm.
I don't fall off to the point where I'm just like, no, I'm
Yeah.
these next things or whatever. I usually do watch it all the way through. And so Supernatural, I do see where the change happens. Like if it does happen at season 5 and people talk about like the themes change or whatnot, I can totally see how that would turn some people off because by the end of it, it does, like I said, they do get into their rinse and repeat, like a little bit more heavy and everything.
Mm.
So that's why I did have to focus more on just the interactions between Sam and Dean because that's where the enjoyment truly was, and the demons and stuff was like it was still fun to
Secondary.
me. I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it, but it took a back seat for me. And one of the examples for that in terms of another show is Lucifer for
Mhm.
me because I completely agree with Naomi saying she was like, yeah, the first 3 seasons really good. Season 4 and 5, that's where it dropped off. And I completely agreed with her. I was like, yeah, no, season 1 through 3 of Lucifer, peak Lucifer. 4, I enjoyed it. One because it finally did a thing that I was waiting for to happen throughout season 1 through 3. And then season 5, there was like a time travel thing that happened.
Well, you know what happened in the production to make season 4 and 5 like
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
distinctly different, right?
I followed Lucifer.
Okay.
I know what happened.
Yeah.
I remember because I I was so invested in Lucifer. I told my dad what was happening
Oh.
because my dad had yeah because I watched. I think I started watching Lucifer over at my sister's house,
Mm.
and I didn't know that my dad and my sister had watched all of Lucifer already at that
Oh.
point. And I was thoroughly betrayed because I was watching it and my dad was like, "Oh, no, it was either my dad or my sister. Oh, is this Lucifer?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." I think it was my sister because I remember she was going like, "Oh yeah, me and dad watched." And I was like, "What? What? Huh?" It's just like, "Yeah, me and dad watched this. Like we watched it." I was like, "Oh, oh okay. I didn't know. All right,
And nobody invited
that's
me.
that's cool. I guess I didn't know. I didn't even know that you and dad like watch this stuff." And they also watch Supernatural. Like, I started Supernatural. No, I didn't start Supernatural. No, I did start Supernatural. I did start Supernatural over there because I remember because I got my sister's Netflix and I came home and was watching it on my phone and everything. So I was watching Supernatural, and my sister, she was like, "Oh yeah, oh you're watching Supernatural?" And I was like, "Yeah." Getting into it, finally decided to start. And she was like, "Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I remember me and Dad were watching this and everything." And I was like, "Huh? What? We we're just watching things without me?"
That's
Because my dad
great.
was, I think I was on season one. I believe, yeah, I was on season one. No, I wasn't. Nope, 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 nope. Because I was after my dad had passed. Because I remember, but I was on season one, and my sister was just like, "Yeah, we watched like I think like up to season 3 and everything." I was like, Oh wow. Okay, you just watch stuff without me. Okay, that's cool. Nobody's just like, oh hey, you want to watch this thing? Guys just decide to watch it. Okay.
Nobody asked Edison's opinion.
Yeah, that's no, but I mean, knowing my dad, I'm pretty sure all my sister was probably watching it, and then my dad was like sitting there because I think my dad more like engaged with our entertainment only if he was in the same area that we were watching it in.
Okay.
So like
My mom
obviously
was
the
like that. My
yeah,
mom does not like. She didn't ever care, but at the same time, if she was in the same room, she'd just sit and end up watching it, whatever the hell it was.
yeah, like and it's that thing where he'd engage with it. Like it wasn't just like he's watching it and then just like walks away, he's done.
Hmm.
It was he was there. He was in it because he did that. The first interaction I remember him doing that was with my niece. She was watching Bad Girls Club,
Okay.
and my dad, because obviously like they'd come over to the house and everything. This is before my mom had passed, and they come over because it's the grandkids. They're coming over watching. We're in a huge house and everything, so there was the front. My parents usually stayed in their room after a bit to watch TV in there. My mom would read books. My mom would maybe come out to the front little dining area, sit in her chair that's right like facing the front door, and she'd talk with us and everything if we were up in the front. And because usually that's where all my nieces were watching TV and stuff, because they usually watched all the same stuff. And my dad, the kitchen's right there, so he'd walk in, get him some, and he'd stop and watch it with them, and like he'd be there, so he'd know what they were talking. And my niece would talk to him about the Bad Girls Club, and he'd be asking questions like, "Oh, so that's so yeah," and she did this. He'd be like, "What? Nah, see, that's dirty.
That's
That's
treacherous.
yeah, that's a floozy right there." And like he would do that. So when it came to like Supernatural, I'm pretty sure my sister would like watch it to maybe just like see it and everything, see what's going on about it. And then my dad would probably just be like, "Oh, what is that?" Or he'd hear it, and then he'd go sit at the table with her and watch it on her laptop.
Hmm.
And that's how that happened. And then with Lucifer, I was watching it, and he was right there, and he'd already seen it with my sister. But whatever, screw me.
I'm not salty.
Not at all. And he'd
Those
watch
aren't
it.
tears.
Yeah, I'm not crying. You're crying. And he'd sit there because I think he only saw like a couple episodes with
Hmm.
my sister, and then I was watching the full thing, obviously. And
Right.
it was me, my nephew, and my dad. We were there, and we were watching it, and we watched like I, with me watching it as often as I did at my sister's. They have seen all like my dad had seen all of Lucifer at the time that it was out.
Okay.
Like because I think it was before they finally got the four. No. He saw all of it because
Oh,
season
really?
4 and season 5 came out. Yeah, because I know I watched all of season 3 and I rewatched it because I wanted more. And then season 4 came out and I watched that. And then season 5 came out and I watched that. It was there for all of it. And it was like he consumed Lucifer through me watching Lucifer at my sister.
And a little
And my
bit of it he
nephew.
watched with her.
Yeah, but what bringing that up?
You're
Yeah.
not salty.
Yeah, oh, he watched more of it.
So,
I'm still thoroughly upset and proud of you for watching the Winchesters and preparing to do this bit on Quincy.
yeah.
That poor boy. That poor boy. He
Yeah.
he don't deserve what you're. You're about to destroy.
I'm about to ruin his world for no reason.
No reason at all. You,
um,
I, and I'm gonna have to. I'm going to have to sit there and look at him and be like, I did not foresee this coming at all, Quincy. Like Derek doing a Derek doing a bit was not on my 2020 bingo card. I will tell you that.
you're not gonna admit that you knew. I'm not gonna throw you
I'm
under the
not gonna.
bus if you don't want to.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna admit that I'm hilarious, and I'll roll with it. However, I have to roll with it. At the same time, I'm gonna tell him like after all said and done, I'm gonna be like, listen, I don't know about you, but I didn't foresee this boy ever doing a bit in his life. I thought that he was scarred away from bits forever from me doing them, but here we are.
It's like people who get Stockholm syndrome and then they end up robbing a bank because they were in
Yeah,
like a bank
a
scenario.
bank
Like,
robbery. Yeah,
yeah.
that's you. It's like I've been a victim of bits so much. I had to see what it felt like. I had to see what was the hype around the bits, and I get it now.
In
Then
fact,
something inside me just snapped. I didn't care about the bits anymore. I didn't
because
care about being a victim.
I genuinely don't want even a chance of him getting out, I'm gonna cut this part out of the podcast and leave it as its own little bonus episode. So
Oh,
you're listening to a bonus episode, people, that's coming out with
oh,
the actual episode of the podcast, which is me doing a bit on Quincy.
oh, jeez.
um,
All the parts where we discuss the Winchesters and Supernatural,
yeah,
like as the whole and part of the bit, it just gets cut out and put at the end of the next episode.
because I like and yeah, we talked about Supernatural here. Um, let's be real, we're gonna have plenty more to talk about next week.
Oh yeah, no, this we one simply because since there's so much of it,
Yeah,
and you're only on season one,
yeah,
there's a lot that could not be talked about.
yeah.
So
I will be a couple episodes into season 2 by the time we eventually do.
yeah, and then between having all three of us there to talk about it, Quincy for sure because he's a huge Supernatural fan. I thoroughly
You
enjoyed
fucking
Supernatural.
think?
I'm just, you know what, editing Derek.
Go ahead.
With this part in the podcast, I'm betting on a scale. I'm gonna ask Quincy next week
Okay.
how upset he is on a scale of 1 to 10.
And you want me to put it in the podcast right? You
Yeah,
want to put it in the bonus
yeah,
episode right here?
yeah, yep. I'm gonna ask Quincy on a scale of 1 to 10. Put up how upset he was in the corner somewhere, and I'm predicting right now that he is. I'm locking it in at a solid 8.
All right.
No. I'm locking it in at a 9. He's a 9. He is not
Okay. What?
that you did a bit and watched the Winchesters.
Okay. Which part do you think he's gonna be more upset about? The Winchesters part or the bit part?
The Winchesters part. The
Okay.
Winchesters part. Yeah. The Winchesters. Like I said, you simply watching it thoroughly betrayed his trust, and I don't know if you'll ever be.
Oh. Oh, I actually just remembered why I watched the Winchesters.
Why did you watch
It,
the Winchesters?
so, first of all, it's free on CW, which is how I
Yeah.
started it. But
Hmm.
and yeah, now that I'm telling this story, I can also reveal why I'm too broke to, or not broke, but why I can't do Netflix, because I it's free on the CW, and I saw a picture. I saw the cover of the DVD for the Winchesters,
Hmm.
and I saw the actress playing Mary. And I'm like, oh, she cute. I gotta watch this show.
Derek.
It's free. I'm gonna watch it. And then I
I
realized,
guess
and then I got so fed up with the commercials that I just got HBO Max for a month.
it's
I'm like,
just he's like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not about to have my interrupted.
and like it's funny that all this time of you and Quincy talked about Supernatural and all like even Quincy ranting about the Winchesters None of that convinced me to watch it, but I saw the cover, and all of a sudden I'm like, I need to see this. I need
Well, I
this.
guess that tracks with the status quo of Derek. I guess Derek is truly back to his natural original self.
I,
He's horny, he's playing Fate.
I, I mean, okay, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm horny. It's like
Derek,
that.
you watched the whole show because you thought an actress was cute.
Yeah, but it wasn't that kind of thing though. Like,
It doesn't matter. It's on track. It's on brand.
I appreciate you saying that. I still feel like something's off. Like, I still don't feel like that version of Derek is back. I
Um,
because
all you gotta
I'm
do is,
because even when I
you know what, I know what'll back.
oh
We just gotta talk about some good old Shrek fan fiction.
no, that never made me horny.
The way you like told the story of Shrek and what was it, Kratos, convinced me otherwise.
That's just because I'm an imaginative person.
Imaginative, horny, they're synonyms in your book.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, uh-huh. Try to lie to me again.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Exactly.